streaming. Should be live. Hello.
Waiting for my pop-up.
Need a good sound check. If you're in the chat, please let us know how we sound.
No pop-up.
Because we had audio issues last week.
Well,
sort of.
I mean, yeah, because the YouTube audio, like you said, was fine.
Yeah, and if I'd had more time, I was trying to push it out in a hurry. If I'd had more time, I'd have just fucking ripped the audio from the YouTube channel, but
Right.
I'm just like, you can still hear us. Fuck it. Just do it.
I never got a pop-up.
It's fucking YouTube, man.
Weird. Live right meow. Make sure my sound is off here.
Hey, we got Tom. We got Stonebleeds. I sound quiet? Mother.
And Tevin. Tevin in the house.
Nice.
Could ask you all to go ahead and click the like button, please. Thank you very much. Gotta be back later. Ciao. Ciao. Ciao, Bella. Got Luna Girl.
Okay. Do I sound any better now? How about now? And yes, hello, Tevin, Tom, Luna Girl. And I already said Stonebleeds, a.k.a. Orange Jacket Guy. So, here's a funny story before we actually start the show. Kristen's like, you never say hi to me in the chat. I'm like, you never type anything. She's like, what, you can't just see that I'm in the chat room? I'm like, no, it doesn't have a running list of who's in the chat.
That would be convenient, but no, it does not.
Yeah, so if you want a shout out, chat folks, you have to actually say something in the chat. Like Big Lovin'. Hello, Big Lovin'. But yeah.
Tevin says it's better now.
All right, thank you. And again, if it cuts out, somebody just in all caps,
get our attention.
Yes, please. These audio issues are pissing us off, but we are discussing new hardware very, very soon. So that's a thing.
What am I missing here?
Your brain?
That's usually the case.
Yeah.
However, there's something else.
We both wore the same shirt. We didn't even coordinate. It just...
You got to coordinate.
Funny coincidence.
The pops.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah, thank God for the throttling back on the pops. But the child is still incoming.
Oh, good.
So we'll at least have that to look at.
Do we have a release date on that?
Soon. Our tech guy is getting better as well. Yeah, it's we've only been doing this for 3 years.
I know.
And you've been doing it for even longer.
Yeah.
You know what it really is? I think I mean, mics shouldn't go bad, right? It's not like we're dropping them and shit like that. So it's a cone that's vibrating and turning analog, and it goes into a thing that makes it digital, right? And ones, zeros, a blah 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 blah. But it still goes bad. I mean, it can still go bad. Temperature changes and shit like that.
That could be a big thing because this room is not insulated. So it gets super cold in the winter and really hot in the summer. So that could have something to do with the issues that we're having.
Right.
Which is why I don't leave my laptop in here. Like, as soon as we're done, I take the laptop out and put it in the house. So, yeah, that could be
So it's entirely possible. But still, 3 years out of these mics.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah, and again, I think it's the mixer more than the mics. Because we've used different like computers too. Like we used to use the Mac, and now we're using my Windows laptop.
Right.
Though we didn't really start having trouble until I went over to the Windows. So that could have something to do with it.
I could.
Which I wouldn't be surprised. Fuck Microsoft. No, I gotta say, they're a lot better now than they used to be. With just as far as like making shitty products and like just being so open for fucking, you know, malware and spyware and all this shit before everybody knew what the fuck it was.
Yeah.
They have gotten a lot better with their security.
Security's gotten better, but their architecture for how they build their operating system is still garbage.
Yeah.
It's still way too much overhead. You should not be
Yep.
these multiple core processors and with all this RAM, they should not be bogged down just to fucking run Windows itself. I mean,
You're not
at some
wrong.
point, it's got to get better, or they'll just keep making these insanely fast computers that oh, I want to load one thing on this. Oh yeah, no, it's completely fucked now.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's just as technology has gotten better, I wish Microsoft had not just like also tried to push that technology. Like,
Oh shit! You know what I have to do? So let's go. Let's see if I can get the Clone Wars.
is this something about the show or?
Do the for the voice guy.
Oh yeah.
I got to get that. I didn't.
Have it queued up.
Clone Wars season 7 episode 2. Let's see what happens.
The episode is called "A Distant Echo."
So clever.
Indeed.
Oh man. See, it's not. It hasn't been out long enough for the Wikipedia part, and it's a super long one too. Shit. There you go. Oh shit, my eyes. Jeez.
Is there any part of you that's not falling apart? You still got your fucking hair, so that's something.
That's something. Still got my hair.
Yeah, and it goes a long way. So enjoy that.
I'd gladly sacrifice the hair to have some
A
other
functional
thing.
body,
Yeah, some other things not be as fucking fucked as they are.
like his dick. I have no evidence of this.
It's all hearsay, innuendo. All right, let's write this
So,
down.
for those of you watching at home, these are my notes written on good old Air Force Inn paper, as I was not home last week.
I'm just going to type it into the notes. Main topic. Who else we got? Oh, hello.
You guys start already?
Not yet.
Not really.
I just want to make sure. What do you need washed for tomorrow other than your uniform? Because it's not all fitting, so I got to pick and choose.
You already washed one uniform, right?
I don't know. I just know whatever's in there is being washed. But is there anything else? Absolutely have to.
Uniform and gym clothes. That's the big stuff. Yeah. That's all. And socks, underwear. But I think I have enough clean stuff to get me through.
It's because of that suitcase. When you came back from your trip.
Well, yeah, it was.
Through a week's worth of.
It's because I was gone for a week. Yes, being gone for a week generates a week's worth of laundry. That's...
Yeah, you wear the same thing every day, dude.
Nobody invited you into this conversation.
He's saying what we're all thinking.
Yes.
Can't fucking win around here. Whole goddamn world's against me. Did you find it?
Yeah, I'm typing it out.
He's transcribing it from his phone to his computer.
Yeah.
Oh, directly into our notes.
Into the notes.
Can't see Vader. Oh yeah, he is kind of off to the side. Let's see. Any better? No. I gotta turn this guy off anyway. It's more
It's warm enough.
And of course, he's gonna cover up some of the Black Series and the pops.
What?
I know, it's blasphemy.
Why? Why is it so important that he is in the?
Maybe if I found him like a stool, I could stand him up right here against this back wall. We'll look for that in the future. But Michigan Vader lives. Isaac Sipe, hello, sir. Lunar Girl said that the Cantina is a fun, kind of safe place on Drama Book. I'd like to think it's a fairly safe place. I mean, we're a bunch of assholes in there, but not like toxic assholes. We're just, just a bunch of...
Honestly, it's a place for me to dump a bunch of memes.
Yeah.
Infill. Shit.
Do that, Jason. Oh, do the Vader behind me? Like, he'd be right here. Right there. We're getting started really soon, by the way. Just Dave's got to finish writing out the script. And then we'll get started. But until then, you get to see all of the pre-show nonsense. Like, my wife and I discussing my week's worth of laundry and the like. I got drill next week.
Boo.
Yep. It feels like I just fucking had one of these, by the way.
Because it was... Well, I mean... It's less than a month.
Yeah. Good old February. Though the good thing about February is when you get paid on the 1st and the 15th, it's like free money, almost. Or just an earlier paycheck.
Just an earlier paycheck. Whoa. What the fuck?
Shoulder.
Did you work out while you were...
I did. Yeah, I worked out pretty much every day. Worked out yesterday and this morning.
Were you working out with Benjamin?
Jordan? Yeah. Yeah,
He'll kick your ass.
He did, man. Like,
It's-
we did chess together on Monday, and I was sore for like 4 days after that.
Yeah, I've worked out with him before. It's just like, dude, what are you trying to do to me here?
Well, I mean, he clearly knows what he's doing. He's a fucking bulky dude.
Okay, I got it.
All right, we good?
Oops. Yep.
Anything else before we get started?
Probably, but I can't remember it.
In the interest of saving time, we're just gonna do it live.
There's an ATSW gaming group on Xbox?
What? Oh, yeah. Didn't we create it, or didn't?
Yeah, that's right. That happened a while back, didn't it?
Yeah, a long time ago when we were playing Battlefront 1 with Big Lovin' and
Mm-hmm.
somebody else.
Club. Drama book.
All right, we good?
Yes.
All right. Fucking hell, I forgot my watch. I even thought about it earlier today. I'm like, make sure you put your watch on before you go out to the studio. I didn't put my watch on, but I do have my phone. So, your toast.
Yep.
And we'll get it rolling. So 30 seconds of silence starting now.
To the poor bastard at Advance Auto that had to take so much shit from that customer today. Here's to you.
To that poor bastard. Gonna need a little more context to this.
So I damaged myself today, as you saw.
Yes, I did.
changing out a bulb. I had a bulb out, a signal bulb out in the car, and Ford, in infinite wisdom, decided it was going to put a bulb that goes out fairly frequently. Decides to put it in a place that you can't possibly get to unless you take the front end of the car off, or you have go-go gadget arms and can reach behind the fender and up and around. So I was go-go gadget arming into this thing.
Yeah, you can't really see it on the video, but he looks like he's got a nasty rash on his arm or like a very bad burn.
Yeah, and then
so
you can see the scraping.
Yeah, it
on
looks
this
painful.
One. So
painful.
It's fucking just existence is pain.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I go to put this bulb in. It doesn't work. I'm like, fuck! I must have dropped it or some shit like that.
Right.
Go to the auto parts store and go in there, and there's a guy at the counter loudly disputing this return because he's trying to get his money back for something. And the clerk is like, listen, this is how much the computer says I can give you back for this. And the guy's like, no, you're jipping me $10, and calls him an asshole, tells him to go fuck himself, like this whole thing. And they're going back and forth. And I'm like, I'm just going to get this bulb and try to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, the dude was just being a real asshole. Like he used a coupon, paid a certain amount with the coupon, expected to get the full amount back to include what he got. He expected to get the coupon back, basically.
Right.
Like, yeah, sorry, dude, that's not how the fucking shit works. Like, here's your money back based on the receipt, to stop being an asshole.
Yeah.
So the guy's like, oh, I'm going to talk to the manager. It pulls a real fucking a male Karen.
Right.
Usually the male Karen involves a lot of cursing and telling people to go fuck themselves, and this guy was the epitome of that. So I felt bad. I mean, the dude was like, he absorbed a lot of it, and then finally got to a point was like, you know what? I don't fucking care. Like, my manager's here tomorrow morning. You know, you can go see him then.
Yep.
But retail sucks. People fucking suck worse.
Yes.
So
yes,
I don't
agree on
envy
both counts.
Don't envy that guy, and sorry I had to deal with such a schmuck.
Yeah, well, fuck that guy. So that being the case, hello everyone, and welcome back to All Things Star Wars, the greatest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. I am Mr. Jason Roscom, coming to you with episode 140 of the All Things Star Wars podcast.
Fucking crazy, man.
Yes, it is crazy.
We have, holy shit, 150 is like right fucking there.
10 episodes away. And,
math.
That being said, well, first of all, joining me for all 140 episodes, each and every single week, the Darth Vader of my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason.
How are you?
Existence is pain.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we mentioned the whole episode 140. We're 10 episodes away from 150. We've been doing special episodes every 50, right? Our episode 50, we did the call-ins. We had, Bronco Fett, Scott Rasmussen, and somebody else call in and be part of the show.
God, I forgot about that.
For episode 100, the Michigan folks, the Escape Pod guys, came here to New Jersey and joined us in the studio for episode 100. So we got to do something for 150. I mean, it doesn't have to be too extravagant, but
here's some episode 100 swag.
Yeah. So we got to do something for 50. So if you, the listeners out there, have any thoughts on what we should do for episode 150, shoot them our way.
Yes.
Join the All Things Star Wars Sidebar Cantina Facebook group and give us your ideas, or hit us up on Instagram or wherever you...
Or Twitter or whatever.
Yeah, we're everywhere. We're everywhere, fucker. So hit us up.
We do need to plan something. I'm just catching up to the notes, by the way.
All right, fair enough.
Make this bigger.
Well, that's what she said. And while he's trying to make it bigger, I want to give a big shout out to all of our patrons. So Tony Ferrari, Camille Donovan, Nick Jackson, Frederick Martin, Big Lovin, Scott Rasmussen, Tactical Swede, Shotgun Mark, Avery Morgan, and especially Don Solsky, who increased his contribution this week. So thank you, Don. You are the best, and you guys are the reason why we do this. Oh, we should get that, the air horn.
Yep. What fun is that? It'd be loud as fuck for us, overmodulate, and would be lost on them.
Yeah.
Unless we had a button to push.
Well, yeah, we do need that.
With a technology upgrade, we might need to think about that.
Yeah.
I thought Didn't we, when we initially got the mixer, didn't we think it was going to have those options?
Yes, because it's got all kinds of fucking doodads and shit on it. But no, it just
None
does
of it's
like,
functional at
it's
all.
all like voice changing stuff, which we can make ourselves sound like robots or like ghosts or whatever. It's like
What do ghosts sound like?
it's kind of echoey. So I was actually thinking like we could do something like in the Obi-Wan ghost voice, but then I'm like, well, I don't know. Anyway, sidebar. So. Yeah, thank you to everybody. If you want to support the All Things Star Wars podcast, go to patreon.com/ATSW podcast and support us there. And you can also find us on
Podbelly.com.
That's right.
The one-stop shop for all your podcasting needs. Pig out on a network of podcasts that feed your listening needs. We are a numero uno on the Podbelly site.
Yes, we are.
Thankfully for the alphabet. And you can find the greatest podcast in the galaxy that you're listening to right now, and a slew of other podcasts to include. If you go into the listen and a podcast directory, you can see our friends, the Escape Pod.
Mm-hmm.
You can see our friends at the Used and Abused podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But no Keith Lehman yet. He's not on the Podbelly.
Well,
but
he
he's
just-
a YouTube guy,
Yeah.
not more so than a podcast. But enjoy the ramblings of a of a man who's obsessed with his drive home from work.
Mm-hmm.
Those are a slew of words that I had no intention of putting together, but
Yeah.
there you go.
No, it's an interesting format. In fact, well, we'll talk about it later, but you had one of those drive home from work YouTube moments recently.
I did, as a matter of fact. Was it about the Project Luminous
It
thing?
was.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I didn't actually watch it, but I saw it. Because I didn't want to hear your thoughts on that because I want to hear them here on the pod. So
Fair enough, and I don't remember what I did anyway, so
Okay.
it'll be a learning experience for all of us.
Wow. So, speaking of which, yeah, we are talking about Project Luminous this week. Big announcement last Monday, I want to say. So we're almost a week removed from that, but this is the first time we've recorded since then, so fuck it. And then we've also got a new episode of the Clone Wars. We were supposed to talk about the Ahsoka novel this week. We'll talk about why that didn't happen as we get into our weeks, but are you good over there?
Yeah, I remembered.
All right. So and I do want to give one quick shout out. Again, we talked about the Escape Pod guys. They should be recording this week, I believe, this Wednesday, and they're doing the movies that made us is their topic. So it's like their favorite movies over the years that have kind of influenced them or had a big effect on them. And I like the concept. Shit, I'd love to do that on this show, but obviously since we're Star Wars focused, it would get kind of far away from that. But yeah, great concept.
Most of what makes us gets blurted out on the fucking show regardless whether it's Star Wars related or not. So
that's fact.
it's our lives are pretty much an open book out here for the world to hear.
For better or worse. So we've gotten shit from people that we're close to for some of the things we've said on the show. But anyway, moving on. Had some news over the last week. First of all, this happened almost a week ago now, but this is the first time we've talked about it or we've recorded since it happened. But Bob Iger is out as of right now as the Disney CEO. He's staying on as an advisor until the end of 2021.
My understanding was he was still going to be the chairman of the board,
Right.
just not the CEO.
Right, which I don't know the fucking difference. It's all...
No, he's still going to make an ass ton of money.
Oh, of course. And I'm sure he's going to have a lot of say still in how they operate day to day.
Right.
Now, the thing is I guess this has been in the works for a while, but his step down as a CEO was pretty abrupt and kind of unexpected. But he's been grooming this new guy, his successor, another Bob guy, Bob Chapek, who ran the Disney parks and resorts up until now. So I guess they've been grooming this guy to be Bob Iger's successor. So now he's in. Iger's now more in a kind of advisory, like you said, board role.
I feel like when this happened, and we had some conversations back and forth on social media about it too, this is the opportunity for Iger to, this is the handoff, right?
Yeah.
This is like, okay, step up in the CEO role. I'm going to be over here as the chairman.
Yep.
So still has some sort of supervisory functionality.
Yeah.
And makes an ass ton of money, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, okay, we're going to do this for a few months or for a year, right? Because I think that's what it was released, is he's going to be there for a year.
Yeah.
As the chairman of the board.
Yeah, and then he's completely done with Disney allegedly at the end of 21.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, let's bring this guy in, make sure that he's got full control of the reins and everything else, and then Iger, rides off into sunset with all his piles and piles of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and honestly, I can't blame the guy.
Oh,
I mean,
fuck no.
He's probably made like 40-something million a year since he's been doing this for Disney, and he's been with them for over a decade.
Listen,
doing this.
You think about it this way: the Disney brand and how much the Disney brand has grown under Bob Iger.
Yeah.
Like, his name will forever be synonymous with Disney.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
Like, they'll do documentaries about how Disney like shaped animation and movies and all this other shit and whatever media they decide to get into next. Mm-hmm. And Bob Iger's going to be right there in the middle of it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. He's made himself a real nice legacy at Disney. Mm-hmm. And again, made piles and piles of Scrooge McDuck money.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, he was the one who did the whole deal to buy Lucasfilm. He was the guy who was in charge as the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, blew up and kind of had its time in the sun. So yeah, he's huge impact on not just Disney but Hollywood in general.
Yeah.
And the entertainment industry in general. So yeah, it's like you said, massive legacy. But the question now is, where do you think it's going to go from here? Like, do you think this Chapek guy is going to just kind of stay the course, kind of, keep things level, or is he going to try to make some drastic changes to both things like Star Wars and Marvel and everything else at Disney? Is he going to try to put his own stamp on the brand?
I'm sure he will, but I have a feeling that he can probably make his mark in the industry by how well where's Disney Plus going to go? Like where's he doesn't have to. I don't think the new guy has to focus on individual, like, okay, we need to get the Marvel. They've already bought Fox, so they already have those that part of that market share, right? Mm-hmm. The Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN, like all these other things. I think he can go and say, what medium is next? Like, especially as the guy who was running the parks, right? So it's all about that park experience, like with how people, basically relate to the brand when they go to a Disney property.
Right.
Now,
and that's big. That's really important.
Now let's make that into something that we're going to see in the actual, like, in social media and what are the experiences going to be?
Yeah.
And how do we branch out that? They're in a unique position where, since they have so much, they've got such a huge part of this almost monopoly that whatever they do is going to lead the way for everyone else. So,
sure.
And if Disney Plus is going to be that thing, then, it's going to be Disney Plus, and how you start maybe the a la carting of certain things. And, maybe they just start making that shit better. I mean, who knows? Yeah.
And honestly, it's not going to have any kind of impact, especially from a Star Wars perspective, until at least, say, 2022. Because, as we mentioned, Iger's still around. Kathleen Kennedy is still under contract at Lucasfilm until like September of 21-ish. She signed that extension right before Last Jedi came out.
Right.
I think, or right after. Something like that. But anyway, she's under contract through 2021. And I don't think we're going to see any changes to the direction Star Wars is going until after, she's moved on and Iger's moved on. And then this new guy, Chapek, can actually, start making his personal mark.
It would be interesting if he decides to even, like, Star Wars. Hey, there's people. I bet you Kathleen Kennedy is there past 21.
Oh, you think they'll re-sign her again?
I do.
Well, I mean, do you think she even wants to stay? Because again, she's also been making assloads of money, and she's getting pretty up there in age. So it's one of those things where, do you want to stay and keep doing this, or
how old is she?
I want to say she's in her 60s.
How old is Kathleen Kennedy? Well, I mean, 60s. No, not Kathleen Turner. What the fuck? Kathleen Kennedy.
She's like 80.
66 years old.
Boom! Dude, nailed it.
That's not that old. And I mean, unless you wanted to be like, you know what, fuck it, I want to go fucking kayaking and
that's what I mean,
off the Grand Canyon.
And I'm just speaking from my own personal opinion. Like, that's what I would do if I were 60 in my 60s and I was a fucking multimillionaire. I'd be like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Goodbye to everybody.
My contract's up, bitches. Peace.
Yeah, I've made my fucking money. Now I'm gonna go enjoy my millions. Maybe spend some time with my family, and do all that. And fuck the rest of the world.
I'll tell you, it's interesting. She has a net worth of $150 million.
Yeah.
We come from jobs where there is like risk, and think about what we've done in our careers, right? We spent decades putting ourselves in. It's not a usual job. While we work job like ours, it's not the usual vocation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you more so now in your newest job, but think of all those years where it wasn't.
Right.
Where it was very non-standard. So for us, like the idea of not doing a fucking thing, having enough money where I don't have to worry about anything at all and just can fuck off.
Yeah.
Appeals to us because of what we did. It'd be nice to not have to have that level of stress. She runs fucking Lucasfilm. I mean, probably the things that she could do whatever she wants now.
True.
Like, oh, I only have to check in with these people that I have running these projects. Like, if she has Dave Filoni, like, let's just say what we all hope, and that Dave Filoni's like the next guy, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he's the next guy up right now because he's still actively making product.
Oh, yeah.
He's actively making these shows. You can't run LucasArts and still produce content.
Lucasfilm. LucasArts has been closed.
God
for
damn
years.
it. I do that all the time.
Yes. You keep going back to like the X-Wing TIE Fighter games.
I know. I fucking... But regardless, he's still making content. So long as she has these people that go like, all she has to do is spin the top and they fucking go.
Yeah.
It's like, let's make the marketing machine happen, everything else. Well, she like, all right, I'll be out fucking kayaking in the Colorado River for a week. Let me know if there's any hang-ups. I mean, she's at that level where she doesn't really have to do that much and still gets to be involved in everything. So why leave?
Yeah.
Why walk away from it?
And I'm sure there's probably like, you're so used to operating at such a high level, like especially when she was like a producer on, the Indiana Jones movies and all this other stuff. It's, you're so used to being just that busy and that involved with everything. I'm sure it's difficult to give up too.
It's. Could you imagine, like, the level of satisfaction when something, like when the Clone Wars seasons start re-airing, you start seeing the numbers, how many people are into it. You're seeing what's hashtag is trending.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it here in a minute, but the Project Luminosity thing, the amount of back and forth that was going on Twitter, and the hashtag and everything else, the build up for that was, I was quite frankly impressed by.
Yeah.
For the book, like we're talking about print product, not like a movie that's coming out or anything else.
Yeah, not even a series on Disney Plus or anything.
This is
all
just
print.
hardcore printed material or Audible book, but the hype was real. People really wanted to know what is this, and all the speculation and everything else. We didn't spend a lot of time talking about it because there was so much rumor mill going about what it was going to be.
Yeah.
It wasn't worth it. It really wasn't. And I wish Big Swede, is he in here?
I haven't seen him yet.
Dude, he consistently fucking, I swear to God, he clicks on shit to read it out loud, or just reads the clickbaity shit out loud just for me to go like, what the fuck? Like, I don't, like, people are so fucking dumb. The shit that they make up is utterly remarkable. I mean, it just blows my mind how fucking dumb people are. And while I was live tweeting during the Project Luminosity thing, the amount of just fishing and just people trying to fucking like, oh, well, I think this is dumb or some shit like that. You're like, you're just being an asshole to be an asshole.
Well, that's fucking Twitter in a nutshell.
Oh, agreed. Not yet. Should I text him? Yeah, text him. You're like, what the fuck, dude? He had himself a fucking 3-day weekend. Yeah, it's just how many people are just so awful and just want you to be miserable. Like, I want you to hear what I have to say and it'll make you react to it so that I know I've affected you in some sort of way.
Yeah.
And it just drives me crazy. Just absolutely crazy.
Yep.
But while I was live tweeting on there for the dozens of people that I interacted with, it was interesting to do.
Yeah.
way too fucking late, though. It was way too late.
Yeah, that was. I think even you asked me. Yeah, I think you texted me and you were like, "You staying up for the Project Luminous thing?" I'm like, "If it's after 9 p.m.,
No,
fuck no."
well, actually, the words were, "If it's not happening in the next 20 minutes, then no."
Yeah, because this was like 8:30.
Yeah.
So
It was 10 o'clock Eastern time
yeah.
is when it was supposed to start. And then it didn't actually start going until almost 10:45.
Jesus.
Yeah, so everyone on Twitter is just back and forth. I played rock, paper, scissors on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, I just put it out there. And there was a couple people that bit into it. So that was
fucking hilarious.
interesting. But yeah, the amount of just, we're talking about the Kathleen Kennedy thing and where she could potentially like get so much joy and satisfaction out of putting these products out, and then you have the whole opposite side of that, where as long as you don't pay attention to fucking Twitter,
right,
and all the negativity out there, because it's plentiful.
Yeah, especially like when you get into franchises like Star Wars.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, not one to throw stones. We've been the negative side of a lot of those discussions sometimes when it comes to certain products, but
yeah, especially I can recall when Solo was coming out, and we were, I mean, let's face it, there was a lot that could have been done better with Solo, and they know it.
Yeah,
of course they didn't say anything about it. They said after the fact, like, yeah, we could have done this better. Like, no shit.
Well, no, I fucking loved it when I don't think it was Ron Howard, but somebody who was involved with the production said, yeah, we probably should have delayed it until December. I'm like, no shit. We were saying that for a year.
Yeah. They don't ask us.
Yeah, I know. Just ask us.
We're not running a clickbait site.
Yeah.
You could just ask us. We'll tell you.
We're real fucking fans.
Yeah. We'll tell you give you our honest opinion and be as objective as we possibly can.
And we're not fucking morons. So anyway, this whole discussion has been a nice segue actually into the first of our two main topics today. And the first one being the reveal of Project Luminous. So this happened last Monday. And
so we're going to do this, then do our weeks, and then do the other.
That's the way it's written in the notes.
All right. We're doing it.
That's what I put on the teleprompter.
We're doing it.
So, yeah, we're going to kind of go a little...
That's fine. I'm just making sure I know where we're at.
Yep. A little different this week. Anyway, so it's...
not different. It's every...
So we kind of knew... I think some of the rumors going around were that it was... Or I think even Lucasfilm announced themselves that it was going to be a... multi-publisher, multi-author, big storyline going on. We just didn't know the when or the what or the who.
Well, the biggest thing with Project Luminosity was Luminous. The time frame. What did I say? Luminosity?
Yeah.
Is that the brain thing?
Like, I don't know what's wrong with you today.
Oh God, I can tell you. You'll understand when I talk about my week.
Okay.
Luminosity, yeah, it's the thing to make your brain better. Like, it's like an app to make your brain better.
Okay.
Like for old people to do, like, so they,
sure. I haven't had to do that yet.
Alzheimer's prevention. Go fuck yourself. Anyway, Project Luminous.
Yes.
The big thing was, what time frame are we talking about?
Yeah.
Is it going to be something post Rise of Skywalker? Is it something in between where we're getting a lot of other stuff like with the Mandalorian, things like that? Mm-hmm. So that was the big thing for me, is like, I didn't even care who was going to be in it. Mm-hmm. And it was a fuck ton of speculation, like,
of course,
on Twitter with the live tweeting, everything else. It's all like, is the Mandalorian going to be involved in it, or are they going to do this? They're going to do that. And I know for us, we were hoping that it was going to be Old Republic.
Right.
We were hoping for Revan. We wanted that timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And we got something in between.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad.
And yeah, so I was really torn about this. So first of all, this takes place in what they call the High Republic era, right? This is 200 years before the start of the Phantom Menace. So it's when the Jedi and the Republic, that was me. Okay. The Jedi and the Republic are kind of like at their peak of, well, basically of hubris. Hubris. But yeah, it was before, Palpatine shows up and starts, fucking everything up. It's just when they were like at the height of their power, and they're just like, we are in control of everything. And this is when Jedi would be sent in to deal with trade disputes or,
Yeah.
taxation and all this other shit, that we just got the little hint of at the start of Phantom Menace before all hell broke loose, right?
Right.
So we kind of just got that little snippet of it in the beginning of the Skywalker saga before, the Sith showed up and everything just got fucked. But yeah, so this is, while everything's all cool in the gang, apparently it's prosperity and peace and Jedi and blah 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 blah.
Team Jedi World Police.
Yes.
Or Team Jedi Galaxy Police is basically what it turns into.
Yep.
But what I found interesting, so when we're talking about the High Republic era, the Republic wasn't as big as it is when we get to the Phantom Menace.
Right.
Like,
right.
they're still in this point of expansion where the Outer Rim territories, things like that, aren't Republic controlled at all.
Yeah,
it's the Wild West.
Yeah, they mentioned that in that trailer
excuse
because it came out with like a launch trailer that sort of kind of explained the era and then showed some of like the working group that was that were the writers and all that.
Well, and for those of us that'll go on Twitter, like you have the Pablo
Hidalgo.
Pablo Hidalgo was on there, had the authors that were on there.
Yep.
A really good group of authors too, by the way. I think that it was, I know I made the comment and it didn't age very well. I had made the comment in there like, oh, with Claudia Gray being involved, I feel like this is going to be a young adult novel, and it wasn't.
Well, no, she is writing a young adult novel though.
She is, but
her first entry is a young adult.
Yeah, that's not what I. Ooh, wow, look at that. Hang on, we gotta put that up on the screen.
Oh, yeah, that's the.
It's one of the comic book covers.
So yeah, I happen to have that same screen, right?
Ah, there you go. Yeah, throw it up there so we can move back to the chat. But
yeah,
I am slightly disappointed that we're not getting the Old Republic that we want, but at the same time, it's when have they ever really given us like what we wanted? Right.
Well, now here's the thing though, because we still have a new trilogy of movies starting in 22, right? December of 22, allegedly, before the fucking Game of Thrones guys walked out. But apparently it's still on. That still has the possibility of this. And the reason why I'm more hopeful about that is because of this quote I pulled from this article on StarWars.com. It said, and I quote, "This period on the Star Wars timeline will not overlap any of the filmed features or series currently planned for production, giving creators and partners a vast amount of room to tell Star Wars stories with new adventures and original characters."
Yes.
So you can break this down a couple of ways. First of all, it's not going to overlap with that new trilogy that's going to start in 22. So that could indeed be the Old Republic still. So there's hope for that. But and this is the thing that I'm actually hopeful for with this series. I'm hopeful for new characters. I even wrote like things like what I want to see in this and what I don't want to see in this. The number one thing I don't want to see in this is Yoda. Even though we know he's alive, we know he's part of the Jedi Order at this point.
Right.
I don't want to see him because, and I think Lucasfilm is even shying away from that because there's very little of him in all of this promotional material. Like I think we saw like one sketch in that trailer of Yoda, but they've learned that these original characters that are so beloved amongst the hardcore fans, when they go back and revisit them, it doesn't always go well. And they could potentially fuck up, our perception of them and everything else. So,
and we don't need it. And I think part of the problem with the child or Baby Yoda as it is right now is like, okay, now we have it was tough to conceptualize what Yoda was going to be 900 years ago, right?
Right. Now
we know what he looked like at age 50.
Yeah.
For his species, the child, we look, it's like, wow, okay, this is what Yoda's species would be at 50 years old. And allegedly at 100 years old, he's training Jedi. So the fucking puberty for whatever species that is must be fucking hellacious. Holy shit. But I agree. I don't want this to be like, if Yoda's going to be in it at all, like make Yoda some fucking, like he's teaching fucking astrophysics 101 at the Jedi Academy or some bullshit.
Somewhere
right?
in the background, very little, exposure.
You don't need them because we have these writers have been given the ability, and based on the quote, they have the ability to do here's something completely different.
Yeah.
And that was what's great about that little snippet you see is like they're in a room, they're storyboarding. They brought in artists that did work for other things, like the visual artist that made Darth Maul had come in, and they did the storyboarding and did all this work for the printed books.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes me the happiest.
Yeah.
With this whole thing with Project Luminosity and the High Republic area
Luminous.
or era, that's fuck off. Big Swede believes we're going to get Yoda, but I don't think
I'm sure we're going to see him, but I just don't want there to be any major focus on him.
Yeah.
That's all.
Threw me off my train of thought.
It wasn't me for once.
Yeah, fuck. What was I saying? Somebody play that.
Basically, how the writers have carte blanche,
yeah.
printed page.
Yeah,
you know.
that's what made me the happiest out of this whole thing is like us, the books, the sacred texts.
The sacred texts.
We have such a love for what Star Wars was for us in these books.
Yeah. And
unfortunately, so much of it's not canon anymore. We're going to start new. We're starting fresh with another, Jason Tall pile of books that is going to reinvigorate reading about Star Wars, and it's going to be canon.
Yeah.
You'll have the Pablo Hidalgos, the Matt Martins, and those keepers of the holocron that are going to be involved in this stuff to have interesting stories that are going to be in print for us to follow. I would love to have a 22 book fucking series.
And that's exactly
what
I wrote.
How fucking awesome would that be?
And I wrote what I want to see, a multi-year type of Vong War storyline, right? Where we get 20 fucking books as part of this massive storyline.
Yeah.
I would love to see that because those were... You all right over there?
Oh, I just realized it's an SK Ultra.
Yes. Silver King. But yeah, no, I would love to get back to those fucking 20 book series that they were doing towards the end of the pre-Disney buyout.
Yeah, and you're waiting you're pre-ordering books again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and not just the Audible book, because I'm having reading issues. I'm really thankful for Audible and for be able to still listen to books, but I can't wait to get to a point where I'm so anxious for the next fucking book to come out to see what's going to happen. The reason we loved Star Wars, the legacy books and the expanded universe of what I say, legacy?
Yeah. You were just...
I'm a fucking mess, people.
You are just...
I am a fucking mess.
Terrible today.
Yeah. The Legends material is that it had names that we were familiar with, but the stories and everything else were so new and so unique.
Yes.
The villains, we didn't always just have the Sith.
Right.
We had the Vong, we had the Hive, and we had Abeloth, and we had these enemies.
Yeah, these other things.
Yeah, that weren't Sith.
Yeah.
That expanded the story, and it just really it kept us engaged and everything else, and we're going to get that again.
Yeah, and they still posed a challenge to the Jedi. It wasn't just some easy pushover that they'd just be able to cut down with their lightsabers and call it good. It was especially with the Vong War more than anything, the Vong rolled in and just completely fucked up the galaxy.
Yeah.
They royally fuck shit up. So I would love to get... obviously they can't do that in the constraints of this timeline, but it's far enough removed, 200 years, where they can do some pretty massive shit.
Yeah.
And it's not going to affect the Skywalker saga.
Right.
Right? So, though, we do know if Yoda ever goes into, some fucking dangerous situation, we know he's not going to fucking die, which, again, is why I don't want to see him much.
Yeah.
I want them to explore these new characters, these new storylines. Fucking leave the Skywalker saga characters in their own little corner over here. Do something new. Show me something new, but make it a big epic fucking story.
Kit Fisto's great grandparents,
Right.
fucking running around. The other thing when we're talking about this particular timeline is if they tell a story to get to the High Republic almost implies that it had to start from somewhere.
Sure.
So the Old Republic, like you said,
Yeah.
personally, I don't think that trilogy is going to have anything to do with the Old Republic. I think they're only going to go back in time to fucking develop this.
Right.
But it gives them the leeway to start talking about what Revan did for the Jedi Order to get them where they are.
Yeah.
You know, having to defeat this Sith and build the Republic to what it is today. There's going to be those issues. And with this villain or this enemy, the Vikings of
the Nile, I think they call
the
it.
Nile, yeah.
Nihil,
I
yeah,
think.
like nihilistic, like Nihil.
Right, exactly.
Not like the Nile River, but like nihilation.
Right.
You know, kind of.
English is such a fun language.
I know.
I pity anybody who has to learn it.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Not very well.
Yeah.
And so you're getting now just in the concept art and how we're getting these characters now, like I'm not. It's one of those things where like, how are they going to how are they going to be a challenge for the Jedi?
So I mean, well, this is the thing. Like, I feel like they're intentionally holding back a lot of details in this because there's probably some surprises in store.
Man. But the Vong, I mean, just even the cover art on the fucking books back in the day,
with
like
the faces and
I was just like, ew.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Like, they haven't built it up to be like a big threat yet, like at least to make us feel concerned. But they did mention that this first novel, which let me roll back over to my StarWars.com page, Light of the Jedi, which is coming out August 25th. This is what kickstarts everything else.
Yep.
And it's a full-blown novel.
2 days before it starts celebration.
It's a celebration, bitches.
Bitches.
And apparently it starts off with some sort of cataclysmic event that triggers the whole rest of this fucking story. That's going to have these repercussions in all these stories in the comics, in the novels, the young adult novels, everything. So, again, they haven't told us what this event is. And I think they're intentionally withholding that information because it's probably very important and probably spoilerific if they just let us know what it was right now.
Right. And hey, I'm cool with any of that because August is going to be fucking on us before we know it. And we've got a Thrawn book that's just off in the distance, which, oh, by the way, this really makes you wonder, like, for Del Rey, like, they're pushing this book out in August, if that's why Ascendancy took that extra bit of time. Like,
right.
Why?
Well,
because Thrawn was supposed to come out in May, like May 5th or something.
Yeah, and they even mentioned, like, due to publishing schedules and everything.
Right.
Like, they were kind of vague about it, but they said it had something more to do with, like, schedules and, like, piecing things in the right spot than anything else.
So, yeah, I didn't realize how excited I was going to be for this whole Project Luminosity thing until I was actually... I need to use Luminosity to fucking make my brain more pliable to actually be able to do this fucking podcast.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Mm-hmm.
The High Republic era.
Yes, you can call it that. Because it's not Project Luminous anymore. It's now the High Republic era. So we can refer to it as that. That might
honestly,
make it easier for you.
Project Luminosity would have rolled off the tongue better if they just used it, like, and saved me the embarrassment of fucking saying it wrong a half a dozen times.
Right.
But probably not. Show me what you've got. It's a Rick and Morty reference.
Ah, gotcha. I wouldn't get it.
You wouldn't. You're missing out, honestly.
I
want to see what you've got.
I'm missing out on a lot of shit. So
yes, same, dude. Same.
Denial. Yes. Anything else on Project Luminous? Like, is there anything that you want to see? Like, I wrote down a list of, like, things I want to see, things I don't want to see.
Yeah.
Big things that I want to see, like I said, the multi-year, just, like, epic storyline. And I also want to see a lot of exploration and, like, galactic mapping and things like that. Things that we've kind of talked about. Like, it's so fascinating to me, like, the stellar geography of the Star Wars universe. And I wish they would get more into that.
Well, a couple of things that they did reveal when they were talking about how on the outer, like, as they're going out to the outer rim, there's the Jedi that are out there. They're very much like the U.S. Marshals. Like, it's that they're in territories where you could have a Jedi out in some fucking like Tatooine, right? Who's like, hey, I'm representing the Republic out here, make sure that peace and order are maintained, and you have all the scum and villainy that are fucking part of the Outer Rim, and you get. There's a lot of potential there. There's a lot of potential to see the Jedi in that thing, like, Wyatt Earp type fucking Jedi, strolling around. Like, what's his nuts? The guy who, from Master and Commander. He was the guy, they kind of voiced him like this, and he was, fuck. Damn it. Jason's looking at me like I'm having a stroke.
I have no idea what's going on right now.
There was a character in Master Commander. He was a Jedi who had gone and basically was the representative on this planet, and he lost his Padawan, and this young girl was basically he kind of like took her under his wing, and she ended up like, did you not read this book?
Dooku?
That was Dooku. That was Dooku. And there was a guy. There was a guy who was he was the guy who. Oh my God! What the fuck? Dooku's only in fucking Audible. Anyway, the character is a lot like these fucking Wild West characters would be in that situation. Like, not in the fucking robes all the time. Kind of like a Jimmy Buffett style fucking Jedi, right? Like, I don't know. I'm trying to relate to this other fucking guy who I can't remember the name of.
Jesus Christ.
God damn it. Some half-ass bullshit here.
It's actually pretty entertaining.
For 140th fucking episode, I'm still not doing the same shit that I haven't done forever.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, my only problem with that. So they talk about this Wild West and the Wyatt Earp type Jedis
New
and shit
Frontiers.
like that.
They mentioned New Frontiers.
They do.
The trailer.
So my problem with that is we kind of have that. Like we have the Star Wars set in the Wild West with the Mandalorian.
True.
I don't want to see that again. I know Kathleen Kennedy has like she was rumored, I think, because Big Swede probably made me fucking listen to some bullshit. That Kathleen Kennedy pulled the plug on episodes of some upcoming thing because it was too much like The Mandalorian.
I think that was Obi-Wan.
Was it what Obi-Wan?
Yeah.
And sent people. Yeah, it was Obi-Wan. So, Rail Avaros. Thank you, Big Swede. Rail Avaros.
Okay.
You don't remember this character?
I didn't read that book.
Who's it? Jason.
I'm trying to catch up, man. I'm working on
My
Ahsoka right now.
Fucking God. Rail Avaros, thank you. Anyway, derailed Avaros. Now I'm fuck you. God damn it. See, you fucked it up by not doing our weeks. We can't get into content and without fucking doing our weeks. We're like doing content, then we're gonna talk about our weeks. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
I just thought I'd try a different flow in the format. I didn't realize it was gonna fuck you
God,
up this
it's
much.
like it's all turbulence. That's all we got right now. My brain can't fucking work right. We can't do that shit.
Well, actually, if we're done with Project Luminous, then we can roll in.
Fuck, apparently, God damn it.
All right.
It was a big deal. It was a big fucking deal. I'm glad to see that the books are alive and well in our Star Wars galaxy. Thank you.
Yes. So hopefully we'll get more details before this first book comes out. So we'll see. All right. So to satisfy Dave, I'm going to go ahead and transition right into our weeks. So
it has nothing to do with satisfying me. It's in the notes this way.
Right. So as I kind of alluded to before, I was in Maryland all week for work, so I didn't get to do a whole lot because, and see, here's the thing, all right? This is sort of a continuation of the conversation we had last week when we talked about our time in Malawi, right? Where I spent 3 weeks locked in my room playing a video game and all this.
And jerking off, yeah.
So I had this grand plan, right? I'm like, oh, fuck, I'll be in Maryland for a week. I've got Ahsoka. I downloaded the audiobook. I'll fucking knock that out while I'm gone.
Did you fly or drive?
Drove.
Uh-huh.
So, but I went with somebody else. And... you know, completely forgetting where I came from and the types of people that I used to work with, it was just like it used to be in the flying days, where there was no, okay, now go back to my hotel room and chill for a few hours. No, it's like, okay, now we got to go get dinner, and then we're going to go to the gym, and then what are we going to do now? We got to go. And this drove me fucking crazy. So this is a whole Air Force thing, and I'm sure it's a military thing in general, but we go TDY, temporary duty, right? We go off station somewhere, hang out somewhere for a week or longer. And I guess I'm the weird one. I'm the outlier here because I just want to go back to my fucking room after having a nice meal and then just relax and do what the fuck I want to do. But It seems like everybody else in the Air Force, has to constantly be entertained, has to constantly be with everybody else that you're on the fucking road with. And I don't understand why. I never have. And that's pretty much what my week was this last week in Maryland. It was, we fucking go and do our work all day. Then as soon as that's over, well, we got to go right to the gym. Okay, got to go right from the gym. All right, now we got to go get dinner. So then we're going to go get dinner. All right, well, what are we going to do now? Well, it's still early. It's only 8 o'clock. What? And I don't understand that mindset. I never have. And now that I have you in front of me, please give me some answers here. What is it? Why can't you people fucking just spend time by yourselves on the road? Why do you always have to be fucking doing something?
So, funny story about Jason. Jason and our Air Force days. So the first TDY we go on with Jason, he's saddled with me, the John, somebody else, and
TK.
yeah, and we're driving to Rochester, New York.
Yes.
Okay, for this class. And Jason is in the back, silent. Like he's the new guy, he's just kind of with us. The rest of us we're fucking smoking and joking, and John was new. John was new too. So it wasn't like,
yeah, but he's that same type of person that easily fit in with you guys. And
well, here's the thing. What John is good at and what I am good at is being the person that I need to be in the moment, not necessarily the person that I want to be.
Right.
So, whereas for Jason, trying to be that facade, to be that person, Jason doesn't do it well.
No.
So Jason was just quiet the entire time. So at one point, while we're in Rochester, New York, we ended up at a bar, and we had driven our government issued van. We, meaning not Jason, because he's still in. So we had driven to this college. It was this bar. It was in the middle of a college town, and there was a radio station. It was doing giveaways, and there's beer pong and pool and all kinds of shenanigans.
Which is not my scene.
Jason is fucking sitting in the middle of this place, right? And I at one point I finally just walked up to him, and because he's just sitting there. He's just sitting. All this shit is going on, and he's just sitting there, and cell phones were barely a thing. So it's not like it was on his phone. It was just sitting there, not drinking, not knowing anything. I was like, dude, why don't you just take the van? We'll find our way back.
Yeah.
He's like, you sure? Yeah, don't worry about it. Boom, gone. Jason's gone. Okay. The reality is, for air crew members and everything else, why did we go out every time when we were air crew members? Because we needed to drink so we could sleep. That's the reality. Why are aircrew all of a sudden allowed to take Ambien? It's because we have an issue with circadian rhythm and everything else. There's all these reasons. An extraordinarily dangerous career. We would drink. Okay, that was something that we do. So when we got off the bus and got congregated, it's all right, we need food in our faces and we need fucking beer in our gullets before anything else could happen. So. You just that wasn't a thing. That didn't satisfy your need. And it wasn't I'm not the most sociable guy. I'm really not.
Yeah.
I'm if I ever strike anybody as an extrovert, it's because I'm doing a very good job at faking it.
Right.
So going out and doing shit and having fun or doing whatever, believe me, all those years I wish I had gone to bed early. Really do. I probably wouldn't fucking. What? I look at the chat and it just says my mom was scary. We're gonna come back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just that thing with aircrew. Let's separate aircrew from this for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Back when I was in the senior academy, right? I hung out with a group of guys that, you know, there were mostly maintainers, a couple Army Rangers, and we had a good time. We drank and everything else. We weren't slam clicking. Slam clicking for the nonners out there. Slam clicking is basically like when you do show up somewhere, you fucking go to your hotel room, lock the door, aka Jason.
Yes, it's a derogatory term in my
Yes.
book.
Whatever. Why do you fucking care at this point?
Oh, I don't, but
But yet you still went out all week last week. So anyway, what we witnessed was there were so many people that had never been TDY before. Like, you're not
in your academy.
Yeah, and you have all these nonners that don't go TDY and don't, like, they're away from home. All of a sudden they fucking, like, yeah, this is how DUIs and a whole bunch of other fucking shit happen, because people just go unchained and fucking get themselves in trouble because they never go TDY.
And honestly, that's kind of what my theory was about a lot of the people that we used to fly with. Not that they had never been TDY, but that their significant others keep them on a pretty tight leash at home. And
Probably for good reason.
And I know that there's at least a couple of guys that we used to fly with that were like that. And then when they get on the road, they'd be just fucking out of their minds.
Yeah.
And one person in particular.
Yeah.
But, you know, I never pegged you as that kind of person. Like, I'm sure Kathy doesn't kind of, you know, keep a tight leash on you.
Oh, and really what it came down to is, like, I always wanted to be a guy who everyone was having a good time with that guy.
Right.
You know, as much as people told me that, like, oh, people are scared of you. Like, bullshit. Those people never had a drink with me.
Right.
You know, it was a completely different personality.
Yeah, but I guess it was just my personality was never conducive to that kind of an environment. And
But here's the thing. Don't be such a nerd and be susceptible to peer pressure. You'd be like, all right, peace out, bitches. I'm going to my room. I don't know. It's funny because at this stage of your career, right? Like, you still want to be like, hey, all right, I want these people to see that I'm not, you know, I want to interact with people in a sociable level and blah, 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 blah.
Well, and yeah, and now I have, like, promotional reasons to
try
to be more, you know.
Winning the hearts and minds, as somebody once told me, which didn't do a goddamn thing for me, but whatever.
Yeah, you had a lot of cards stacked against you in that case.
Motherfuckers.
But yeah, no, so I do kind of feel like I have to be a little bit more social if I want to get my next promotion, which is still a possibility. So, but anyway, the whole point of this fucking story is that I didn't get to do anything with Ahsoka. I was fucking busy from fucking the time I woke up until the time I went to bed.
Who drove?
Me. I'm the VCO in my squadron. So I checked out the fucking vehicle. I drove the whole fucking way. I drove everywhere because I drank once while we were there, and like I just like woke up the next day just sick to my stomach. I'm already feeling sick to my stomach after 2 beers here. So like my alcohol tolerance is just like as low as it could possibly fucking be.
Weak California liver is what your problem is.
Yeah, my insides don't agree with alcohol anymore. So
it's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
My insides, I'm sure, aren't going to be happy. Why is it so cloudy?
But anyway,
where did you get the ice for this?
Out of my fridge.
Look how cloudy that is.
What are you saying? My fridge is not good?
No, I don't. I'm just like, maybe the glass was dirty. Like that
it was
booze.
Clean. It was like right out of the.
But
dish.
that booze was, and you know what? It's the water. It's Jersey water, is what it is.
It's filtered. I don't know what to tell you. So anyway, can we move on?
What are we moving on from?
So basically, we're moving on from the. Fact
You
that
asked me a question, and I gave you some fucking.
Right, and the whole point was I didn't read Ahsoka this week, which is why this is not what we're covering today. Sorry, we'll cover it next week. So
all that driving, couldn't listen to a fucking book.
I was with somebody the whole time.
You put earbuds in and be like, "Hey, I'm going to be out."
Well, again, this goes back to the whole thing where everybody but me apparently needs to be constantly entertained on the fucking road. They need to be constantly engaged in fucking conversation, or they need to be out somewhere. They can't just be alone by themselves. That's when I'm the happiest. Like, I don't care. See, this is the thing. Like, I don't care if you're my best friend, if you're my wife, you're my fucking kids. I don't want to see you all fucking day. I don't want to spend every fucking minute with you.
No, dude, I totally, I feel everything that you're saying, and I have no problem with that. And there's nothing worse than like, was it that drive? One of the times I drove up to Rochester, it was windy as fucking hell. It might have been no, it wasn't that trip.
We went up there a few times to like do the radio class.
Yeah,
and everything
it
else.
was one of the times I went. It was more maintenance guys, and the fucking wind was howling. I literally had like 5 units of fucking rudder trim in just to fucking keep this 15-pack van on the goddamn
going
road.
through the fucking
And
New
I'm like,
York mountains.
Yeah, and
trying to
I
get to
don't
Rochester.
want to listen to anyone in the car. I'm like, I put earbuds in. I'm like, you fuckers can entertain yourself.
Yeah.
Just leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Let me drive this rig, because I'm a terrible passenger. I really am.
I believe that.
I would rather drive. I have control issues. So
no, not you.
believe it or not. Remarkable, yes, I know, but
All right.
Anyway.
So moving on from that, I wrote D23 in the notes because I was going back looking through some of the old Rise of Skywalker content,
all right.
and I went back and
We're still on our weeks.
Yeah, I rewatched the D23 teaser trailer for Rise of Skywalker. I don't know how much you remember from that, but man, like I think I wanted to see a specific scene from it. That's why I pulled it up.
Right.
Fuck, man, that's probably one of the best trailers ever produced for any Star Wars movie. Like if you go back and watch it, it's going through a couple of scenes from each movie, but it's got the fucking John Williams score going in the background.
Uh-huh.
Oh, so good. But it's the one that ends with fucking Dark Ray, where she pulls out the fucking double-bladed
Oh,
lightsaber.
okay. Yeah.
And at the time, we were like, oh, what is this? Is it a vision? Is it really Ray? Does she go to the dark side? Whatever.
Yeah.
But if you go back and you rewatch that D23 Rise of Skywalker trailer, it's so fucking good. And I think the music makes a majority of it, and it's just, I don't know.
Oh, I can't everything about the fucking score, like I can't get off of John Williams' dick. I really can't. I mean, like what we were talking about, Canto Bite when we were coming in here, that was kind of like what was playing as I was pulling up to the house.
Yeah.
And I do recall those instances, and I still get that deep emotional, like, oh, the Skywalker saga is coming to an end. Like that part of the John Williams score just feels like it's the finale, you know? And it's, but why D23? Why, what?
I don't know what sparked it. I think I wanted to see that Dark Ray scene again or something, but something got me to go back and Google it and fucking watch it again. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, this is so good. So I just recommend to everybody, just go back, YouTube that fucking D23 Rise of Skywalker trailer, because it's fucking amazing.
Remember how many times we went back and looked at the Last Jedi and the Force Awakens trailers?
Oh yeah,
after we had
hundreds
seen the
of
movies.
times,
And even after the movies, it just made it that much better.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, even knowing. Like, part of it was like, oh my God, what the hell what is happening? Right? And not knowing. But even when you know what's going to happen and then go back, and the way they cut those things and the way they cut the soundtracks and everything else are just like,
oh, they're brilliant.
It's very aesthetically pleasing.
And again, I
obviously-
think this D23 trailer, more than any of them, you talk about aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
Oh, good shit. Really good shit. So, anyway, have you ever gotten to a point where you've gone back and you've kind of listened to music that maybe you kind of missed, like when it was big at the time, or you kind of blew off and thought, that's bullshit, that's not for me, and then kind of got back into it later?
Oh, like Glenn Miller big band music. Sure, absolutely.
Sure. And well, it could be anything really.
That was a joke. Glenn Miller, like, how far back are we going?
Well, it doesn't matter. But
Okay.
what I'm saying is, like, that's been happening with me. So I've actually been listening to a lot of the Bee Gees lately.
Really?
Something that was before my time, right? And I'm talking specifically the 70s, the fucking disco era Bee Gees, like the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack Bee Gees. And so it's so funny because, at the time that we grew up, right, we were born into the disco era. Like,
Right.
I was born in 76, like a year before Saturday Night Fever came out.
Right.
So we were fucking infants when this shit was going on.
Right.
So the only context I ever had for, like, the disco era of music was when I finally became conscious of music trends and everything in, like, the 80s, and all I would ever hear was people bad-mouthing disco. Like, my first exposure to fucking Staying Alive by the Bee Gees was in Airplane. Right? It was already a fucking joke at that point.
Right.
And then whenever you would hear somebody talk about it, like, it was just nothing but just vitriol, just like hatred for like the disco era.
Oh my God.
Well, but I'm serious though. Like,
That you're right. It's what was I watching? I was watching it was the world competition of disco or whatever, and it had like people dancing into the thing, and they're doing their little dances, and the floor is all fucking lit up and everything else. Let's face it, the disco was designed, that music and everything was designed for people that were tripping balls.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like totally tripping balls. I don't know how you could fucking tolerate that shit otherwise.
Well, so here's the thing, right?
Jason's about to tell us how he loves disco all of a sudden.
Not disco necessarily, but I'm talking specifically the Bee Gees from that era, right? Again, I think I was just listening to like a random like 80s like loop or like some sort of playlist on YouTube, and fucking Staying Alive came on. And when you take yourself out of the context of like how much hate and how much silliness is involved with the whole disco area, and you just fucking put on a set of headphones and you listen to the song, it's actually pretty fucking good. And it just got me starting to listen to a lot of their stuff, because I was never that into the Bee Gees. Because again, that was before our time, right? Like, even before they embraced the disco era, they were big in like the 60s, but they had, they were sort of more of like a Beatles type of thing, which the Beatles I didn't really appreciate until much later in life either.
True.
Because I thought it was a lot of their fucking, it was nothing but their Ed Sullivan-y,
until you get to a point where you can listen to Sgt. Pepper's and actually like appreciate it a little bit.
Yeah, you get into like their LSD years, and when they're doing like a bunch of really experimental shit.
Yeah.
But no, so like for some reason I just came across these Bee Gees tracks on a fucking playlist on YouTube, and now I'm actually listening to them more and more. And then I started watching like the fucking trailer for Saturday Night Fever, because I've never seen the movie.
You've never seen Saturday Night Fever?
No, because again, 77, I was a year old when it came out, and by the time I knew what music was, everybody's like, fuck disco, it's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's almost one of those things where if following John Travolta's career, you almost have to watch Saturday Night Fever to understand like why all of a sudden like he gets the part in Grease after that, and then,
right?
Blah blah blah, and then things happen. Look, I will never, like, I might bust your balls here, but the reality is, like, I have such an eclectic taste in music that I would never, like, I could listen to anything from fucking, Rammstein to fucking the Beatles,
right?
And anything in between, except for I'm not into country at all. There's something about the sound that I don't appreciate, but it's hardcore rap, and like there's some hardcore rap that I can like, okay, I don't allow, it doesn't matter what genre the music's from. Like, if I enjoy the music, then I enjoy the music. It's gonna make you feel some kind of way.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I'm sure it was the same for you. Like, music played a big part in me growing up. I associate different music with different aspects of my life as a kid or a teenager, like all the way up through the end of high school. Like, music was heavily involved in everything that I was doing. There was a fucking radio station. It was the hard rock radio station in town that only like the fucking, the people like me listened to.
Dude, I tell you,
such a impact on me.
My formative years were spent listening to, like, it was one of those things where you think about it and it's funny after the fact, but like while at home, my parents are listening to like classic rock and into the Beatles and that type of music, and then when I was with the few people that I would hang out with, it'd be like fucking Pantera, early Metallica, like heavy metal, just like heavy death metal type shit.
Yeah,
and like my needle swung so far, either way. And honestly, music is one of those things, and again, John Williams' dick ride notwithstanding, I was super into classical music. Like, you could put something on and I would always be into it. Like Gershwin, and you put something on like Rhapsody in Blue is one of my all-time favorite just music. Like that particular piece of music is in my fucking top 10 of things that I will not ever not listen to. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
And-
I'm huge into Beethoven and Mozart, so I feel you. You know.
So, and it's I think it honestly, it's going to sound really fucking funny to say, but I would say that it speaks to our level of intelligence that we don't necessarily allow ourselves to be controlled by one genre of music to another. Like, I
Yes.
made the joke about the Glenn Miller band, but there's actually some fucking big band music that I really enjoy listening to. You know, things that, you know, talking about the World War II music. Yeah. You know, with all the horn sections and everything else. I love that shit.
And yeah, I think a lot of it for me is just the composition of the music itself.
Yeah.
You know, because going back to the Bee Gees thing, like putting on the headphones, just like taking yourself out of all of the other shit and just listening to the music that's being played. When that fucking bass riff comes on, that I'm like, oh, that's
Think
catchy,
about
and
it.
it's-
Think about the music, not the. Don't imagine, like, don't picture the people, because that's
Right,
that's
exactly.
what'll put you. I swear to God, man, I wish I could find his YouTube clip. I'm pretty sure it was something like Liam shared with me or something like that. But it was like the International Disco World Championships, and it had just like the people were coming in, they're
Yeah.
dancing in, getting
Yeah.
and it's so fucking like you had to be so high to fucking even just be at that level where like the fucking floor lighting up. And there was some disco aspects. You think about it, like if we roll back into some Star Wars shit,
Yeah.
you had disco elements in the fucking in Star Wars.
Sure.
And
Because again, came out the same year as Saturday Night Fever, the first Star Wars. So, and oh god, then we can get into the holiday special and
oh god, oh my
No.
god.
But ultimately,
Oh. Speaking of holiday special, on Twitter, right? So when I was live tweeting, right?
Mhm.
There was a guy within this was so it was the Project Luminous. I'm sorry, Project Luminosity hashtag, and you know we're rolling through, and I was just doing some goofy shit, and then I came across somebody that had the holiday special part 2. It was like a script for the holiday special part 2.
Huh.
And I saw it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to go ahead and look at this. So I clicked on it. And it was funny too, because in the Project Luminous hashtag, like because you just constantly refreshing, waiting for. By the way, we didn't talk about this. Project Luminous, no live stream. There was no live stream.
Oh.
Everything you were getting was from the authors and the people that were there on scene for the fucking release.
Nice.
So what was cool about that is like authors like Amy, oh shit, one of the authors,
Klobuchar.
sure, Gesundheit, that they were basically live tweeting the thing, and there was some press people that were like, you know, some Star Wars press people that were like basically live tweeting everything was coming out. So that's how we ingested Project Luminous. But one of the things that like in the stream when you're all of a sudden like hashtag Project Luminous is like holiday special part 2. And then and this guy, I'll have to look at it. I have to find it, because I was like, oh, I must partake in this.
Yeah.
And he's like, good luck. So he must have wrote it very, very tongue in cheek, but I think it's fucking hilarious that somebody would have went through the time, because I looked at it real quick,
Yeah.
and it's basically like a script for what would be holiday special part 2.
Well, I think even what's his nuts. I don't know if he was saying this as a joke, but fucking dude from Mandalorian, the dude that made Mandalorian.
Favreau.
Yeah, Jon Favreau. I think he even joked about how he'd like to do a new Star Wars holiday special for Disney Plus.
I have to find this, and when I find it, because I have the PDF, I downloaded it. I just have to. I want to give this guy credit. When was Project Luminous thing?
Monday. Last Monday.
Oh yeah, check this out. So here's scissors, because I was doing rock paper scissors thing. So like I had random people fucking.
That's weird.
It's just fucking when you're trying to kill time on Twitter, waiting for shit to happen.
The weird things
happen.
you can do.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead, keep talking. 'Cause
anyway,
I gotta find this. I
so-
gotta give this guy a shout out.
I've got one more thing for my week, and this
Oh,
will
that's
be
right. It's your week.
this will be really
Because
quick.
we're doing it out of order,
So we have kind of
like an asshole.
talked about football as we've gone along, and we talked about how the XFL is going on. I tuned into an XFL game yesterday or the day before, which
Okay.
I think it was Saturday. Yeah, so yesterday.
Okay.
It was like the LA team and somebody else.
All right.
The thing that I saw, though, it was very, very sad. I saw an outer shot of the stadium that they were in. This was in like the third quarter, and the score was pretty close. The seats were like maybe 10% filled.
Yeah.
It was fucking pathetic. Like the lack of attendance of this game. I'm like, that's like 500 people in that fucking stadium watching this game.
Listen, why we don't need the XFL? You really don't. Even hardcore football fans need to have it. You need to take a breath.
Well, I've always liked the idea of having a minor league, so to speak, like where guys maybe can.
Yeah, it's called college.
Well, what about guys who like get out of college, can't quite make it in the pros? Maybe they can go hone their skills somewhere else for a little while, go back to the NFL.
So I don't want to hijack your thing, but the reality is that football is such, because of the nature of the sport, you've got 4 to 6 years of legitimate playability at that level.
True.
Why waste it in a developmental league? Like you build up a skill set in college where you're actually up against other athletes that are going to give you a measure of fucking physicality. This is why teams that in conferences that tend to do better, like this isn't the shit on the Mountain West or anything else, but like the service academies tend to be undersized because the military has physical requirements, and you can't be a giant
Right.
person, and you can't be a fucking 350-pound fucking lineman,
Right.
because you won't meet the physical standards for the Air Force or the Army or whatever. But look at the Big Ten, look at the SEC, look at these big time conferences. This is their developmental league. This is where, okay, you're taking somebody in their early 20s and you're teaching them how to develop the game, and their natural talent is going to rise above, so that you can say, okay, I'm a pro team, I'm looking at these guys. You're going to get them at their prime, at their physical prime, and hopefully wring them out for 4 to 5 years, get what you can out of them, and then be gone. If you're not good enough, like say you peak too late and you're like a Kurt Warner,
Right.
Kurt Warner, he is a Hall of Famer,
Right.
okay? But the dude went into an arena football league because at the time he did not have, whether he didn't have the shot to do it, or maybe he didn't develop physically, maybe he just got better when he was older.
Yeah.
He just didn't have this characteristic that would make him a pro player straight out of the fucking jump. So he goes to the Arena League and then fucking gets called in, and next thing you know, he's a fucking Super Bowl MVP.
Which kind of, reinforces my point that maybe there should be a place where they can go to kind of hone their skills if they're not quite ready for the NFL, do a couple of years in this fucking minor league, and then move up to the pros and give it one more shot.
Well, you know what the minor leagues, like, if you're thinking about it in a baseball term, you know what the minor leagues don't do? They don't change the rules. They don't,
Well,
like,
yeah.
how many people go up to the CFL and come back to the NFL? Very, very few. How many people actually come out of fucking Division I football, NCAA Division I football, and make the pros? Very, very few. Like, the people that make an NFL team are the absolute most talented. Are you going to have onesie twosies? Sure. But if you had, say you had something like the XFL, and like, okay, the intent is to pull somebody out of high school, maybe do a couple years of college, and then pull them into this fucking this other league, you could be burning them out. They're one ACL away from fucking destroying their careers.
Yeah.
So then they have to make a choice. They have to make a choice, like, and let's use basketball as an example. Like, you go to the play up in Europe. All right, yeah, you get some developmental stuff. There's scouts, and everybody's looking at you, and you probably have a better chance of making it back to the NBA. But are you going to make money? Like, how many fucking Ginobili? I'm not a basketball guy, so I don't fucking know. Insert fucking random foreigner's name here,
Right.
type thing. But anyway, the XFL can suck a dick. I mean, if you really, really were serious about trying to make something that is going to key into that market, right now, You have hockey, you have college basketball, and you have the NBA.
Yeah.
Who are you trying to get? You got spring training. It's getting ready to spin up. So you're going to compete against Major League Baseball. There's, whether you believe it or not, Major League Baseball is still a thing.
Oh, no, I
Like,
understand that. But there are people like me who really just love professional football and don't really care that much about baseball.
then watch the CFL.
Is that still a thing? Like,
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
The Canadians have their fucking league, and it's on a bigger field. And Doug Flutie's still a goddamn hero up there.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that though, because I tuned in and it was pretty pathetic, the attendance. So.
And listen, one of the quarterbacks for one of the teams, I forget which one, but he was a Penn State quarterback, and his name is McGloin. Matt McGloin was on one of those teams as a starting quarterback, and he basically got benched because he flat out said, like, this is the stupidest game plan I've ever seen in my professional life.
Wow.
Just absolute fucking nonsense.
Like game plan from the coaches?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
like what they're trying to do is fucking retarded. So they benched him.
Wow.
Like, okay, yeah, so he'll be back on it being a sideline reporter for Penn State. But I put the XFL or any other league that's going to try and come in there and be a developmental league. I think because football has such a short maturation period, and then once you hit that maturation period, you only have 5 years of fucking talent.
Yeah.
Wow, we are Penn State. That was because we are in the chat.
Sure.
It's a thing.
Okay.
If you were a college football fan, you would understand, as opposed to this fake Vader bullshit going on over
Oh
here
my
with
God,
you.
here we
You
go
wanna
again.
Pull out a pair of fucking khakis for the guy. Anyway, fuck
Ooh.
the XFL.
I should do that. I should put on a pair of khakis onto Michigan Vader over here. Oh my God. Next week I will have khakis on Michigan Vader.
I will put my dick in his fucking mouth if you do that.
Like live on YouTube or?
Maybe.
All right. Well,
My penis will go all over that if you put khakis on him.
okay. I mean, I guess I won't touch it again after that. But so anyway, that's my week in a nutshell. So moving on to you.
There's some political news that dropped during this recording.
Nobody cares about politics.
Yeah, I don't care about politics. So here's the thing. This is actually probably the best I've felt in, like, I woke up this morning on day 12 of fucking this never-ending migraine, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had it a little bit for the last pod, and it just it developed and got worse over the week. Fucking awful. Like, if you look at my screen right now, it's at like 215%, like, so I can see it. Apparently my eyes have gotten to a point where I need the readers. Like, I need progressive. I'm getting the progressive lenses because I need bifocals.
Oh shit.
And apparently 45 is the fucking age to fucking, yeah, your eyes turn to dog shit. Blah, 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 blah. And so the problem is I've had a really hard time reading, and it's been like, I'm trying to do school. I've been trying to work. It has been an absolute fucking shit show, man. It is like, it's been not like just headache, and my eyes just refuse to fucking work. So I've been to the doctors. I've had my eyes dilated twice in the past fucking 72 hours. Like,
shit.
Oh yeah, dude, it's been a whole fucking thing. So
In the past 72 hours?
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's freaking, it's been a shit show. So I have the words real big on here, and like my vision is not right. And what they're saying is that if I apparently I've been taxing my eyes too much, and that's why I'm getting the migraines. Because, dude, it's been pretty spectacular. You know, you're talking about tripping balls, like having like the light show that is happening. Like, I see static, right? Legitimately, like when I look at a wall, I see like like if your television wasn't tuned to the right channel when you're trying to put your Nintendo on.
That's not good.
Like, yeah, I know. So, and the only reason I say that, boys and girls, is like if you wear glasses or you think you might need to wear glasses, fucking get your shit taken care of.
Yeah.
I've probably been putting this off for like 2 years, getting a prescription, just kind of dealing with it. And then finally my eyes were like, go fuck yourself. Just, it's over. If you don't get your shit fixed, like we're just going to make everything fucking miserable. So that's where I'm at. So trying to get homework done and fucking just part of what our jobs are, right? Like you're in a computer field now, which is that much worse. And even without that,
even before that, in our old job, it was always staring at a computer all fucking
senior
day.
SEOs, all you're doing is staring at a goddamn screen all day, and then you have this long ass commute where you're exercising your vision, and then you fucking stare at a screen all day. Then I would come home and I stare at a screen to fucking do homework and do all this other shit. So it puts a lot of stress on your eyes. Probably has a lot to do with like backlighting and all such. It's a interesting area that I'd love to actually investigate if I had spare time. But it's one of those things where my shit's been weak, man. So existence is pain.
Yes,
as we can see.
As I saw as soon as you walked in today.
Yeah, it's been horrific. So I'm hoping we went and spent money on glasses, and so hopefully I'll get those this week and I'll be able to like start getting better. But in the meantime, it's been 12 days of fucking migraine and flashy lights and like when I look at you right now and I look over here, there's you. It's like that over here.
One of those.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. So hence the drinking too, because I'm like, fuck it.
Because that's gonna help.
I'm gonna take 1,600 milligrams of ibuprofen and swallow a glass of whiskey, and then I should be right as rain.
The All Things Star Wars podcast does not condone combining medications and alcohol. The opinions of one Dave Martin do not represent those of the All Things Star Wars podcast.
True. It hasn't killed me yet, and so that means it's good.
Right. If it hasn't killed you, then it's obviously good for you.
It doesn't kill you; it makes you stronger. So anyway, and there's a go blue in the fucking chat. Whatever, you and your fucking khakis.
Oh, we're putting them on Vader now. That's going to be a thing.
That would be fucking...
regardless of Dave rubbing his dick all over Vader or not. It's going to happen.
Why did I say that out loud?
Oh, it's going to be glorious. Why did I say that out loud? It's going to be glorious.
God damn it.
So I just got to find some like child-size khakis to put on Vader because yes, Storm bleeds. He's probably about a 12-inch waist. So,
oh my God.
Are you done with your week?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we need to take a quick break before we resume with our second main topic of the week.
There was no sign. I don't know what could possibly be holding us up.
Oh, sorry.
How else would the YouTube audience know what is going on?
Yeah. All right. Is that better? Does that work for you?
Yes.
All right. Does. So that being said, we're going to take a very quick break and be right back after this word from our sponsors.
You just give them the finger?
No, I snapped and then pointed.
Oh, it looked like the finger.
You can't see shit. How would you know?
You know the finger. I gotta find this holiday special 2.0 thing because it's kind of fucking ridiculous. Yeah, Twitter. Like, what's funny is so they created a subreddit on I don't know what pant size he is. Jesus Christ. I have adult children. I haven't had to worry about kid-sized clothing in fucking decades. Yeah, Twitter is just... Oof. Anyway, I made a subreddit for Star Wars podcasts because one of the things I was looking at, there's so many fucking Star Wars podcasts out there. Like, if you put it into a search in iTunes, so many of them come up. I'm like, oh, look, we're competing against each other, but whatever. I mean, nobody's doing what we're doing right now. Like, we're basically telling everybody to go fuck themselves. Very few people have the fucking balls to do that. But there's, some people might have some good shit, and why not help each other out? So, trying to get this subreddit off the ground. But if you're on Reddit, go to Star Wars podcasts as a subreddit and throw some content on there, trying to get me up. I'm because I'm not busy enough when I should be doing all this other shit. I'm trying to. My eyes are complete fucking garbage.
Ugh.
We went to the art museum today.
I saw that. I saw your Instagram picture.
Yeah.
Very familiar sight.
Yeah. So that particular picture, I was just waiting for somebody to run up the stairs so I could take the picture. Like, that's not anybody I know, obviously.
But I'm sure there's always somebody doing
There's
that.
always somebody doing it. Like,
Yeah.
and that's just one of the beauties of going to Philly. It's like, okay, yeah, you enjoy this. Enjoy running up the rocky steps, and I don't know when they put it up there. It might have been there for a while, and I just wasn't paying attention. But they have Stallone's footprints, like from his, like they basically took somebody with a pair of Chucks and fucking, there's a bronze inlay of the Converse All Stars up at the top of the stairs where he was standing. I made the joke to Kathy. I'm like, yeah, it's funny. We'll see the Converse, see the Chucks on there.
Yeah.
Because that's what he was wearing in the movie. And sure shit. Yeah, it says Converse All Stars, size 9. Kathy's like, wow, he's got small feet. I was like, yeah, because he's short. Like, Stallone's short, yeah.
Huh. Well, he hides it well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all of Hollywood is like that.
Well, I know Tom Cruise is like short. I know I think he's like shorter than me, actually.
Which is remarkable. But
What is that supposed to mean?
It's remarkable. It doesn't have a negative connotation. It just means it's remarkable. Let me find this fucking. I gotta find this. Let's see. What if I put in the search? Holiday special. Holiday. Nope. Damn it. Anyway, I think I'll read through it, and then if we need to do something on it, we'll give this dude the appropriate amount of credit once I find it.
I still have no idea what you're talking about. So,
Holiday special part 2.
Oh, right.
From this guy. No, the best part about the Twitter, like the tweet was, I was like, oh, I am intrigued or whatever.
Yeah.
And he put like basically good luck. Okay. Like,
all right.
Somebody got super, super stoned and fucking wrote hey, look.
You'd have to think that that's the case for the original holiday special as well.
Apparently, the Used and Abused podcast decided to go on the subreddit that I was just talking about while you're taking a piss and fucking and posted something on there.
You talking shit on there?
Yeah.
All
About
right.
time you made a subreddit.
So Stonebleed keeps asking what size pants he is. I mean, it's tough to say. It's a 3-foot Vader with, I don't know.
Yeah, GTSB 3-foot Vader.
All right, so
Is
it's
he only 3 feet tall?
It's about 2 of these, like this, and then
Nobody knows how big your hands are. I mean, honestly.
all right, that's fair.
It's not even making fun of you. It's just that's mentions. Let's see. Maybe it's in mentions.
Scott.
Scott, who was I fucking tweeting with the other night? Because you were on there. That had the script for the holiday special part 2.
Anyway, are we ready to move on? I know you.
Yeah,
claimed,
you got 30 seconds of silence.
Yeah,
so.
you claim to need to wrap this up early because you got shit to do. So
I'm not. I
All right.
can't read, so it's going to be really tough to write a paper.
all right. Well, this last part should be fairly short. So, 30 seconds of silence starting now. And we're back! So, in lieu of us doing the Ahsoka novel this week, we had another episode of Clone Wars. I know we were probably going to take every other episode or so, but situation being what it is, we are going to go ahead and go and talk about the second episode of Season 7 of the Clone Wars, A Distant Echo.
Conspiracy! After a repeated setback on a planet in Axis, an elite clone squad is deployed to investigate the Separatist tactical advantage. This special unit, called the Bad Batch, infiltrates Admiral Trench's cyber center to deal with a strategic algorithm capable of predicting the Republic's every move. What our heroes found was a live signal from the ARC trooper known as Echo, a clone long believed to be dead.
So, my first note in this was, the Bad Batch is back. Sorry, Dave.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
So, for some reason, you did not like the Bad Batch
I'm not
whatsoever.
I'm not into it. I'm just not.
I mean, they weren't as much of, well, I guess they were kind of a focal point of this episode too, but they were more kind of just in a support role to kind of get Rex to fucking Echo. But they were still in this. I still enjoy their strange cast of characters, but whatever. If you don't like it, then
It's actually
so be it.
like, so this was toned down enough to the point where it wasn't as bad.
Mm-hmm. You just didn't kind of like how like loud and pronounced and out there they were.
I didn't need fucking Rambo. I didn't need, like, you got Sly. Speaking of Sly Stallone,
Yeah.
You have the fucking I think it's a bad idea. I can't do a Stallone. Sorry.
It actually wasn't bad. So, but
Sound like I'm having a stroke.
yeah, early on in this, Anakin gets more involved in this storyline because if you remember last episode, none of the Jedi were really involved in that. It was all about the fucking clones.
Right.
So we're finally getting some Jedi involved in this storyline, and it's mostly Anakin. Rex fills him in on the whole Echo situation. Anakin's like, all right, we got a plan. We're going to infiltrate this place where the signal's coming from, yada, yada. But the most telling thing in this whole episode was the Anakin conversation with Padme and the circumstances surrounding that. Like, that was the biggest, I guess, revelation for me. So first, Rex is helping Anakin to kind of cover up his transmissions to Padme. So I don't know if this existed in the previous seasons of the Clone Wars or if this is something new for this season. Like Rex knowing Anakin has this relationship with Padme and is like helping him like cover up like these secret transmissions that he's making to her and everything.
It's a secret mission in uncharted space.
Yeah, so if any of you Clone Wars enthusiasts in the chat, your Stonebleeds and your Bronco Fets, know for sure, let us know if the whole Rex knowing about Anakin and Padme was a thing before this episode.
But that, I agree with you. That is probably the biggest revelation, and it's almost like a side note in this episode.
Well, yeah, and then especially when Obi-Wan gets involved.
Mm-hmm.
So we see Obi-Wan for the first time in Season 7 as he's looking for Anakin.
Well, he was
not in the last episode.
I thought he was in the first one. No, when they were standing there.
No, it was only Anakin and Mace Windu at the very beginning of the last one. Yeah, Obi-Wan hasn't been in it up to this point. So, yeah, Obi-Wan's looking for Anakin to talk about their fucking plan to go into that planet.
Right.
And, of course, Rex is guarding the door, and he's like, so what's going on? And Rex is like, nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I know Anakin is in there. What the fuck? And Rex is like, no.
I like how Anakin though has the foresight to take Rex's helmet with him, so he has like an out when he comes out. It's like, don't fucking break this again.
Mm-hmm.
And gotta bail. All right, peace.
But
not me. Obviously not. I'm in the middle of the podcast.
So after
that would be silly.
Right. So after some really terrible stalling by Rex, Anakin eventually comes out. Obi-Wan's like, well, what the fuck? What's going on with the plan? We need to talk about this. And Anakin's like, nah, it's good. We're going to go and just go ahead and execute it.
Right.
And Obi-Wan has the line. In fact, I wrote it down verbatim. I hope you at least told Padme I said hello.
Right.
So as far as I can tell, this is the first time that Obi-Wan's kind of insinuating that he also knows about Anakin and Padme.
That part of this wasn't as big a revelation to me because you almost have to, like, you got to pick up. You don't have to be a fucking Jedi to pick up some of the context clues here,
sure,
right?
yeah.
Like, oh, these two people are fucking, obviously. Or maybe
Mhm.
if they're not fucking, like, Anakin's obviously into Padme.
Yeah.
Anakin said as much when they were fucking in the
elevator,
lift,
yeah.
fucking, before the space slugs and R2's fucking inability
He's
to
like,
detect.
I gotta taste that shit,
Yeah, I
man.
gotta
And
get in
Obi-Wan's
that
like,
ass.
and Obi-Wan's like, nah, man. You gotta pull it back, bro.
You want it too bad, brother.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, again, this seems like a first at least. Like, obviously, Obi-Wan's got to have some sort of an idea, but this is the first time he's just like blatantly acknowledging it. It's like, hope you said hi to Padme for me. And it's like, Anakin just kind of stops, looks over at him, and then just keeps going. So I wonder if we're going to get more hints of this as the season progresses, because we really didn't have an opportunity aside from that last scene with Obi-Wan and Padme together, that Obi-Wan, was kind of in on the whole thing.
I think it was one of those where what I immediately thought about was Obi-Wan as we see him right now as we look at season 7, episode 2, Obi-Wan has lost what would appear to be his love.
True, yeah.
And in the most horrific way possible.
Yeah.
Basically killed in front of him deliberately so he could be seen to suffer.
Right.
And to have experienced that, Obi-Wan's probably like, I can't, like, I've felt that. I've been on the other side of that. Yeah, I'm going to just acknowledge the fact that, you got this thing going, you're treading on dangerous territory, and I know that you're doing it, but I'm not going to rat you out, but just know that, like, hey, I'm not fucking oblivious to this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's, Obi-Wan's a tragic character.
Yeah.
When it really comes down to it. And to know, not only lose what would ostensibly be his love, but then also lose Anakin. And then lose his life to Anakin at some point for the greater good. It just, I've said it before on the pod, and I think that Obi-Wan is one of those really, really underrated characters within this, as far as his strength as a Jedi, and also just the strength of the character. Not so much that we need another fucking movie about it,
right?
But like Obi-Wan, they do a fantastic job of developing Obi-Wan as a character and where he is coming from and going to in the shows and in the movies.
Yeah, and it seems like he's actually really fleshed out well in the Clone Wars. And again, we didn't give the Clone Wars a whole lot of credit early on, but it seems like
credits will do fine.
Yeah, credits will do fine. No, they won't. So, moving on with this episode, though. One note I made, Padme is obviously pregnant in this.
Yeah, she's got her hands down. Yeah, she's kind of covering her belly.
She's got just like a tiny, tiny bump on her belly, and she's constantly touching it, constantly holding it, which is the telltale sign that a woman's pregnant.
She's
like
touching it and holding it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, like seriously, if a woman is constantly rubbing her belly, constantly has her hands on her belly.
Really? You're going to make generalizations about women right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. It's a ballsy move, my
as
friend.
a man,
right,
I can do that. So...
Yes, the views of Jason are not necessarily the views of the All Things Star Wars podcast, and especially not his co-host, Dave.
Right. So anyway, so I'm glad you picked up on that too.
Yep.
Which, again, pretty obvious.
Yeah, God. Obvious as a train wreck.
And the rest of the episode is just them infiltrating this planet, coming across these fucking super savage locals. Like they can't even speak fucking English.
English, motherfucker!
There was actually a pretty cool translation scene. Did you pay attention to
with
on one side,
and tech.
Yeah.
Hey, tech, translate that. Like, oh, that's some Star Trek bullshit right there. Like, oh, we need to have some sort of way to get through this plot point. Have this random robot that can do everything and translate whatever we need them to do. Go!
Well, I mean, in the Star Wars universe, typically they have protocol droids.
Yeah, 3PO.
You've got your droids that do all the translating and shit. So
how the fuck... where is Google Translate in so much other shit? I mean, come on. Like, if this is the Clone Wars, Homeboy can have that shit fucking put up on his goddamn Google Glass.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why can't everyone else do that shit?
Because nobody wants to, they don't look
Do
cool.
they not have the brain power to do it? Do you have to be some fucking super nerd to be able to fucking do this shit?
Maybe.
And then you got to make noise.
That's their language. How dare you?
You
You're a racist. You are a racist.
You gotta make noises with your fucking mouth, and like, how can he possibly make that type of inflection? They have long necks and weird heads. Like, you can't, like, you're not a human's not going to be able to make those noises
Because he's special. He's one of the bad batch. So
why bother saying it out loud? Have a fucking some sort of speaker that goes. It's just that shit. I'm like, and then it's like, oh, guess what? It's in fucking this native language, and then it's an Aurebesh. It might as well, like, you know what it is? They're fucking hating on Indians. So I'm gonna say it. They're hating on Indians. They're taking like fucking some like, oh look, it's a picture of a horse and a picture of a fucking teepee, and then they're translating it to Aurebesh, and then they got some dude saying that. Fucking redonkulous. They're like these praying mantis fucking aliens, like fucking riding this fucking, like, come on. I expected better. I expected better from this. I just I'm like, oh god, the Bad Batch. I can't wait to get through this. I'm praying to the gods that there's more than fucking 12 episodes of this so that I can look back and go like, all right, the first 3 episodes are going to be dedicated to fucking Echo that nobody gives 2 fucking ball sacks about except for fucking Rex because he left them for dead.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like, I think these were all episodes, at least these first couple were episodes that were unfinished, right? After we recorded the episode last week, I know Bronco Fett said in the chat, like, hey, this was based off of a prototype episode that they had put out, like...
It was an unfinished thing. I had actually mentioned it during the pod, too.
Right, and hopefully these first couple episodes were that. And now, once they've got Echo back...
You know
we
what?
can move on to newer episodes.
That's the hubris of fucking Dave Filoni. And that, I wrote these episodes so they need to be out before we do any new content.
Yeah.
Like, nobody gives a fuck about fucking Echo. Nobody gives a shit.
And see, that's the thing, too, because if you think about it in the context of an average Star Wars viewer, like, well, maybe even...
We talking about the casuals?
Yeah. Like, if they're like, oh, there's this new Star Wars thing coming out on Disney+. I didn't watch Clone Wars back in the day, but fuck it, I'll start this. They don't know who Echo is. They don't know who fucking Rex is, you know?
I'd be willing to bet that we are in the minority of the Clone Wars watchers.
Oh, I've gathered that.
Yeah. We are in the minority, and I will be the first. Yes, thank you, Scott. I had found it also. Do you see what
I see that? Great name.
We'll get back to that. We are in the minority, in fact, of the Clone Wars viewing experience. And I think the Clone Wars viewers that saw it at those times are fully, like, for them, this is probably perfect because it picks up where it left off, and they're not taken aback by the storytelling or anything else. I was expecting more of... Let's face it. We're expecting Ahsoka, right? Because we're trying to fill in the gaps for where the Clone Wars is to where Rebels is, and we know where the story goes. That's part of the challenge that you have as a writer. But I'm hoping this Echo shit pays off, man. Yeah. I really am. I mean, we're watching this week to week, and this is the kind of shit where, like, Star Wars Resistance, how it fucking lost me because there's a lot of shit that I don't care about. And it doesn't matter how important it is. Like, it's not engaging me as a 45-year-old male. Yeah. But in fairness, it's not really geared towards me. Allegedly.
I don't even know who it's geared towards at this point. I mean, I guess it's like you said, it's geared towards those people who grew up on the Clone Wars.
It's geared towards the hubris of the fucking Clone Wars apologists.
But yeah, I mean, the expectations for me have been, more Ahsoka stuff, and then ultimately leading right into and including Revenge of the Sith.
Right.
we're not seeing any hint of that yet.
No.
So hopefully we get there at some point.
A couple interesting things that did come up though. You have the Techno Union, which
Yeah.
stereotypical. They're just like the Rhodinians. They're fucking everyone apparently looks the same from the Techno Union.
Right.
There's a Rick and Morty reference here with the fucking Mr. Gears. But
right. But and are they born with that fucking metal contraption that like controls their volume and shit, or do they have to at some point?
It's like it's like your microphone, right? So you have to like you need to twist buttons and
But like what? Like, is that naturally how their species has to communicate, or
they have to wear goggles and they have to look like they're some fucking there's some reject from some sci-fi movie, and then they're talking to. See, I like, for whatever reason, the Techno Union thing throws me off, but then the fucking the insect admiral, I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Strangely, I don't understand. Like, I guess in my mind, there's good continuity there with the Geonosians.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Techno Union guy was there too in
The
Attack of
Techno
the Clones.
Union.
Yeah. So
that was it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I was all right. I was just thrown back by that, and then they had to introduce a new droid.
Yeah, which were just as useless as normal battle droids.
But they just looked weird.
Yeah, but they got the same voice and everything. It's
right.
Like, well.
Although there was a funny part as I was watching it where they kicked the whatever was going on. They fucking threw one of the droids off of the fucking one of the clankers went off the fucking cliff, and he goes, "Why?"
I do remember
that. Falling back.
Yeah.
I just let's face it, there was a reason that they were programmed the way they were, because they weren't supposed to win.
Right.
Yeah, they were supposed to be fucking like, all right, we need you to be smart enough to march towards fucking gunfire, but too dumb to realize why you were doing it.
Right. That's a pretty funny way to look at it. And yeah, ultimately they get to Echo. A whole big back and forth with like fucking, oh, we have the signal, we lost the signal, we can only get the signal when it's transmitting. And it's like, they're just killing time at this point.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, we need to fill 5 more minutes of this fucking episode.
And that's the thing. Like, we know there's one season left of this fucking shit, and we're wasting it. We're wasting it with filler.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But you were half right on the whole Echo resolution. Like, you were talking about, yeah, it's just like fucking head in a jar, like hooked up to everything. Well, it was his whole body, but yeah, it was still like he was in a fucking incubation chamber with fucking all kinds of electrodes and shit all connected to him and stuff, kind of keeping him alive. And
then what? What are they gonna do next?
They rescued him, and he's probably gonna be just like batshit crazy at this point. Like, there's no way he's gonna be normal.
Yeah, they're gonna have to fight their way out of this fucking situation that they're in with the goofy clankers.
Yeah,
and then they're gonna like, oh, we're gonna bring him back. And that's the thing with this episode. Like, okay, great, you found the guy. They were using Echo to solve the algorithm that was figuring out how to defeat you. Cool. Now what?
Right.
Like, he's still fucking. You would think that they would be able to fucking take his brain and fucking like, oh, we're gonna ghost drive this, and we're gonna fucking
yeah, we'll go ahead and make a backup of this.
CD ... and then go to the fucking G drive, and we're gonna download this into a new fucking brain.
Yeah,
like, oh, we need a fucking a new skeleton mech suit with the fucking flesh armor.
They've got the bodies. They've got the fucking clone bodies. They can just go to Camino and be like, give us another one of those,
or just fucking pick one up off the goddamn ground outside. You know, just like fuck yeah. Just fucking sticks in their fucking arms and shit. I just there's no, like, unless the next episode is going to be some fucking huge revelation, like maybe they can use Echo because he's been tied into their fucking network. Maybe they use it somehow to be more effective at combating the separatists.
Maybe,
because I mean, spoiler alert: the Republic wins, right? At the end of this, the Republic wins.
Essentially.
Air quote.
Yeah.
They are, to the victors go to spoil. So, maybe they use Echo and they fucking, instead they plug him into the fucking Republic's matrix and let him fucking run their fucking battle planes and shit.
Right.
I mean, who knows? Because the dude was like basically it was a fucking meat sack and a fucking back to tank that they were just running fucking software through.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Have you ever thought about how many Matrix like type references you could like associate in Star Wars?
Oh God.
Like I do it all the time. I catch myself doing it. I like sometimes I do it deliberately for a podcast because I think it's funny, but when you really think about it, it's like, God damn, like how much of the actual Matrix are we fucking living in at any given point? And there's another Matrix movie coming out.
There is.
I can't fucking wait. I can't wait.
No Larry Fishburne though, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I heard he didn't.
I don't care.
He didn't sign on to come back. So.
What the fuck was his? What was his thing? Morpheus.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about Morpheus. You know, he was a fucking loser.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it because he was black?
It had more to do with the acne scarring.
Oh, jeez. All right.
No, I'm not afraid of a strong black man.
Yep. So yeah,
I left the door wide open for you, and you completely
I
just walked by it.
I think that
fucking walked by it.
It's probably for the best. So yeah, no, that was the episode in a nutshell. They found Echo, and no idea where it's gonna go from here. Like
the nutshell was a peanut that you threw on the floor to fucking.
Definitely not my favorite Clone Wars episode. The biggest revelation again was the whole Obi-Wan acknowledging that he knows about Anakin and Padme. Yeah. That was pretty big. Other than that, nothing very memorable about this episode.
Yeah, I would agree. And we're probably missing a lot coming out of it, but
not really. Trust me, I watched the episode twice.
Did you really?
Yeah, and there's there's got to be something I'm missing here, and it's like, yeah, fight, shoot. Echo, it's fucking, that's it.
So there's part of me like Anakin's the most powerful fucking Jedi to ever have existed.
Allegedly.
I really feel like, do they dumb him down to the point where like he's not using all his capability? Like, you know what I mean?
Maybe.
It's like he gets fucking like in this episode he gets grabbed by that fucking flying the dragon thing, and he's like, oh, I'm helpless against this, and
it's like the fly, help me.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck, man? You like go into this thing's brain and fucking you're going to take me to your leader or something.
Yeah.
Like you're the chosen one, for fuck's sake. Like, channel some anger and, I don't know, annihilate everybody.
Yeah. Like,
there should never be... You have this dude with a fucking plasma sword. Unstoppable.
Yeah.
You can pick things up and throw it. Like, fucking bring giant things falling down on... Like, I don't understand how having a Jedi is not, like, the most powerful element of the fucking battlefield. And that he seems... How, like... The clone, they're like shooting at things, like even the Rambo ones throwing knives at shit or whatever. Like, no, sorry, I'm gonna throw my fucking plasma sword and just because guess what? It's not a laser. People say laser sword, couldn't possibly be a laser. It's plasma. It have to be plasma.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what energy would it be?
Right.
Right.
No, it makes sense.
So I'm going to throw my plasma sword and fucking eliminate everything that's around here. Oh, and we're going to predict that because the Jedi are predictable. There's a premise here that I just find really, really insulting.
Yeah.
As somebody who's watching this, and I keep coming back to, well, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe this is not what this episode was written for.
Right.
But with season 7 coming out, I thought, okay, this is the whole purpose of putting this out is to close the gaps that were there in the Clone Wars. Mm-hmm. If this was a gap, I didn't know it existed.
Right. No, yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Like, it's just like, oh, we didn't know if Echo was dead.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a fuck if Echo was dead.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be more curious about 99. Like, let 99 be a fucking live.
Right. Yeah. The old fucking hunchback guy.
Yeah, the old hunchback guy. Like, make him be alive. Like, oh, hey, it's our plucky old guy who's so smart and doing things.
Yeah. Just, a lot more interesting of a character.
Right. I'd rather let the physically disabled person fucking have his day in the sun than this other fucking meat sack in the fucking back to tank. Yeah. I really don't care.
Yeah. So hopefully
shitting all over the Clone Wars like I do.
Yeah, and I mean honestly, I was not impressed by this episode either. Like didn't shit on it quite as much as you, but yeah, it was just kind of there. Like again, aside from the Anakin, Padme, Obi-Wan part, very forgettable.
Then
for
the
me.
problem is that I'm assuming, and I have done no research whatsoever to back this up, but I'm assuming that there's going to be another episode where we close the Echo loop.
Oh yeah,
Because
I'm
they
sure.
tend to do things in threes, right? So we're probably going to get a third episode where it's like, oh, here's bringing Echo to safety and how Echo saves the day and how Echo doesn't have a fucking hand growing out of his chest.
Yeah.
I mean, I could not be more bored with this.
Yeah, and hopefully we get to some more interesting storylines. We know we do have the return of Ahsoka at some point. So
Allegedly.
yeah,
Allegedly.
like not in the first 2 episodes, clearly, but hopefully soon.
So speaking of Ahsoka,
Yes.
have you started?
Yes, I'm like 4 chapters into the audiobook.
Okay.
I
So you
started
got
it
what,
the
like
day before
11 hours left?
something like that. But I mean,
All
I can get it done this week
All
as
right.
long as I don't have people like, okay, let's go get dinner now. Okay, let's go to the gym now. Okay, what else are we gonna do now?
I love that you're using
You know?
them as an excuse. Or you could have said no.
There's a whole story about that.
Uh huh.
Anyway, I'm
Yeah,
not
you
gonna
were
get into
supposed
it.
to tell that story on
I
the fucking
did.
pod.
I did.
Uh huh. Sure you did.
Whatever. Anyway, next week, the Ahsoka novel.
Yes.
For real this time.
And unless something earth-shattering happens in this Clone Wars episode, which probably I'm guessing is not going to happen, we'll save. Should we just plan on talking about it? The Echo closeout episode that's coming up, that we know is coming up.
It's one of
I
those,
think we should pencil it in. Honestly,
we can pencil it in, but if it's underwhelming like this one, then we can save it for another week.
I'd hate to poison any other thing happening after it.
Yeah.
Good to know I'm not missing anything yet with season 7. Yeah. Lunar Girl, good on you for getting out there and binging the rest of the Clone Wars stuff.
Yeah.
I personally want to see more of the season 6.
Yeah.
I want to see some more of those episodes.
Yeah, because when I accidentally watched the first episode of season 6 last week, I'm like, damn, I can't wait for the next episode. And then
Yeah.
I realized it wasn't season 7.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck.
Boom, 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 boom.
But yeah, season 6 started off really good. So I'm like, ooh, I want to
Yeah.
see more of that.
And it didn't finish great, but I think that there's some validity in watching that. Man, there's if we thought that there was going to be a kneel down for Star Wars material, like we were so sorely mistaken.
I know, right?
Like even with the Project Luminous thing, and I've gotten to the point now where when Star Wars says, "Hey, it's going to be this many months until something comes out," okay, it might as well be next month, or it might as well be
Right.
next week, because all of a sudden it's there. It's like, whoa, hey, there it is.
Yep.
To that end, we talk about Alphabet Squadron, which I think we need to get into. I've got Big Swede.
Mhm.
He's listening to the Alphabet Squadron right now.
Okay.
I think after you're finished with Ahsoka, I like to do that.
Okay.
I'd like to talk about it because that can be an episode where we really kind of break things down, like from a military perspective.
Oh, nice.
Because I think that particular novelization is, you're going to find a lot of parallels that can be drawn from your military service.
Sweet.
And it just makes it just is interesting, and it's not so overt that it you have to be in the military and understand it.
Right,
But
but
it's
they
one
would
of those
never
where
write a book like that.
Right, but there's enough in there like, oh, I appreciate that is there. And we've got another Alphabet Squadron book coming out. And what else? There's something else coming out between now and
I mean, if they hadn't moved Thrawn, we'd have Thrawn in May.
Right.
But now I think we
there
have a
was
bit of a
something else.
gap.
when does the novelization for
Oh, like within the next week for Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, so we have Rise of
Yeah.
Skywalker coming out,
Yeah, and then we got the
So-
home video at the end of March.
which I'm hoping I'll have my new glasses by then. Then I can have I can look at the actual physical printed page
Mhm.
of the Rise of Skywalker, and we have a copy for the sacred text.
The sacred text. But speaking of that, I wasn't going to bring it up this week. However, there are rumblings about some of the things that are revealed in the novelization that were either unclear or just weren't talked about in the movie. So there are some revelations.
I follow Star Wars Books, which is Del Rey,
Uh-huh.
and they've actually been putting out stuff that alludes to that. Like, hey, there was a collaboration, a very deliberate collaboration between the author and JJ and everyone else to
Yeah.
make sure that some of the things that weren't able to be included in the movie are going to be in novelization.
Yeah.
I can't remember when a novelization has gone on out on that limb. We made that assumption with Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Because I remember when Force Awakens came out, we had just started doing a podcast, and I said, you know, I wanted to read the novelization because supposedly it was going to. I don't know if it was. They told us it was going to say things, but I just made the assumption that, hey, we're going to get more detail out of novelization.
Mhm.
It never happened. Never came to fruition. This is they're pretty much putting it out there and saying this is going to tell additional details that you did not get from the movie, that we just couldn't include in the movie, which I think is great selling point for the book. If you weren't already going to, however you're going to ingest it, either via the printed page or Audible or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you can pre-order it on Audible right now.
Yeah, and I think it's written by or read by Mark Thompson, right? I think it's another one.
Is
of
it?
his
You know, I
joints.
didn't look at that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like they went the full fucking 9 with the production quality of the audiobook of the novelization.
So when does the digital download become available?
For the movie itself?
Yeah.
Mid-March, like the 17th, I think.
And then the book's coming out when? About the same time,
I'm
right?
Looking it up right now.
I feel like I should have had this down, but I had other windows open.
Rise of Skywalker Expanded Edition, narrated by Mark Thompson.
Nice.
March 17th. Okay, so the same day that the
Okay.
digital.
Because
the
what
movie
I'd like to
comes out.
do is I'd like to watch the movie
Mm-hmm.
and then have that recency to read the book.
Yeah.
I'd like to. What's probably going to happen is I'm probably going to pre-order the book. I'm going to get it, read it, and then watch the movie.
Yeah.
No, and just let the memory of what I saw on Rise of Skywalker kind of like and make it add on to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super excited to read this novelization.
Yeah.
Because hopefully I'll have new eyes and be able to fucking actually read it without having a stroke. B, it's I'm excited to read about Star Wars again.
Yeah.
And that's what Project Luminous and this High Republic and everything else, and like getting different different flavors of how Star Wars is, and not relying on like the Ryan Johnsons or the JJs to give us a story, letting us do it again. I love Audible. Okay, I love that I can still intake a book. We talked about this a little bit in the last pod, right?
Mm-hmm.
You still intake something, but the beauty of reading it is that you get to put your own mental image
Yes.
on that, and you lose that a little bit with the Audible because there's voices now, and they're like it just.
Oh yeah, and they got the music playing and everything else, and
Yeah.
they're really trying to make it more of a cinematic experience just listening to it.
Yeah, and I think reading is just fundamentally is about developing your own imagination, your own vocabulary, and everything else. And if Star Wars is going to put that much concerted effort into making sure that we can get back into the books of Star Wars, kind of coming full circle around to how we started this pod, I'm excited.
Oh yeah, me too.
I'm excited about the future, and even though I don't know what that future is going to be. Sidious and praying.
Where did that come from?
Sidious and praying Jar Jar. That's we look over at the chat, both of us at the same time. We see Isaac Sight posts Sidious impregnated Jar Jar. So that's fucking awful.
That's quite the visual.
See, if trying to picture Jar Jar as a sexual being alone is like bleh.
Oh god, could you imagine a
Oh my god,
a Gungan in like the midst of an oh god, oh musica.
Oh,
Miss Office. Oh.
Anyway.
Oh, Annie.
There is a
Oh,
subreddit.
God.
There's a subreddit out there called Darth Jar Jar.
Oh, I've heard about all the theories about how he was like a Sith Lord and everything.
All I see every once in a while, I'll see a meme in there with some fucking shit, and it's actually pretty funny. So.
Yeah. All right, well, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah, we probably
So,
should. I need to get
Dave's-
fucking homework done.
Dave's got shit to do. I've got bed to get to, so at least Lunar Girl was entertained. So yeah, join us next week. Should be Sunday still, even though I have the guard weekend coming up.
Yep.
Still should be Sunday.
Sunday evening.
Sunday.
Sunday.
And, yeah, we'll
That's it.
yeah, we'll take it from there.
Ends with thunderous applause.
Yeah. Or,
Ahsoka. We're going to do Ahsoka.
Yes.
Like
Just leave it there.
sex points for doing Ahsoka.
All right, but yes, that'll be
Of age Ahsoka, not as a child. We're talking
Right.
of age. Like she's old enough now. Like she's coming to her own.
Right. Though I did notice
It's not
in
weird.
an early chapter of the book, she mentioned about how her fucking whatever her fucking horn things are, like
They call them
outgrew-
Laiku too.
Laiku, yeah, whatever they are. They like outgrew the fucking hood, like the hoodie she was wearing. Like they got
Right.
so big that like her fucking hood couldn't cover her whole fucking head anymore.
Are-
So,
Are you there, God? It's me, Ahsoka.
but anyway,
You don't get that reference.
I
I
do
can
not.
tell by that laugh. You think like there's people out there who know what I'm talking about.
anyway, it's time to go.
It is. It's
All
time to go.
So thanks everybody for joining us in the chat. Thank you for listening to the audio portion for those of you strictly listening to the audio podcast.
Hopefully the audio didn't take a shit.
Yeah, sorry about last week. Fucking technical issues always. It's always something and it's pissing me off. I think we just need to like shit can everything that we've got, go to all new hardware, call it good. So that being the case, until next week, Dave and everybody else, may the force be with you.
May the force be with you. Okay, now what do I click?
All right.
Lunar Girl gets it. There was a book. It's called Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Oh.
And it's basically about a girl going through puberty.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I don't know why I read it. I think it was something in school that it was one of the scholastic book kind of titles. I'm trying to think who it was. One of the popular children's authors at the time had wrote it. But
I don't know. I wish they'd written a book about dudes going through puberty.
was it
though.
Judy Blume? I don't. It might have been Judy Blume.
Yeah. All I
Or
know
It was like this whole thing. It
Yeah.
was a whole thing. I had sisters too, and if anything else, it helped me appreciate. Oh God, it's whatever. It was a weird time. it was a weird time.
puberty is a weird thing.
Yeah,
I just remember, like, all of a sudden, I got red dots all over my fucking junk area. Like, what the fuck? And then hair starts growing out of them. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Nobody told me shit. You know,
I don't remember any of that.
Oh, it was fucking traumatic for me. Like I thought I had some sort of fucking disease or something. Because, like, the fucking red dots all over my fucking crotch area. I'm like, wow, shit. And then eventually little hairs started poking out. I'm like, what's going on? So...
I legitimately couldn't tell you what puberty was like. Aside from my voice changing, I don't...
Dude,
No.
like, all that shit's ingrained in my brain. It was very traumatic, actually.
Beverly Cleary was a popular author. The Mouse and the Motorcycle. Ever read that?
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you read?
Not that.
I mean, did you
Yeah.
read a lot when you were?
I've got awards for, like, reading the most books out of anybody in my school.
Oh,
so...
Yeah, I mean, but you never read the Mouse and the Motorcycle, Henry. Was it Henry Higgins?
Henry Higgins from fucking My Fair Lady? Just you wait, Henry Higgins. Just you wait.
Let's see. Judy Bloom.
You fucking East Coasters had some weird curriculum, I guess.
It's
I had to read shit like To Kill a Mockingbird and fucking Brave New World. I used to Brave New World was kind of fucked up.
there's
It
a
was
lot
a
of
really
fun. It was Judy Bloom. Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret.
sure.
I'm gonna throw it up here on the Judy Bloom. You read something from Judy Bloom. I guarantee you did. If you read any of those, any Scholastic book, like if you went into the book fair
Which I did, but
and you went into the book fair and you fucking got a book.
I always got like Choose Your Own Adventure and shit like that. Those were great books. Oh, I miss those so much.
Yeah, I read Henry Higgins. Yeah, see, Lunar Girl gets it.
It must be an East Coast.
Did you
thing.
read? Did you read the Hardy Boys?
No interest.
No, like kind of like
I had access to them. I just chose not to read them.
yeah, it was like a Sherlock Holmes type thing, except
I
with,
know what
with
they were about. I just didn't care.
Yeah, so there was a female version of that also.
The Babysitters Club.
No. It was instead of the Hardy Boys, it was like something else. Yeah, all the like the Judy Bloom books and everything. I mean, so as fast as I read now, bust my balls, but if I have the printed page when my eyes were working properly, like I'll read a book in a day, like a day and a half. Like I can ingest a book quickly.
Yeah.
And the big thing with that is I was always able to like, okay, if I have the reading, I could ingest the book and do whatever. So I was always reading whatever. Like the Hardy Boys novels were great because there were so many of them. You could just like read.
I do remember that. I remember
read
seeing
them.
like a collection that was like that.
Yeah, it was
like a
huge.
big
It would
fucking box.
take up like 2 shelves of a bookshelf would be
Yeah.
all Hardy Boys. And it's older stuff. It's like 50s because, like think Boy Scouts and going out and doing stuff in the woods and blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Nancy Drew. Thank you. Nancy Drew was the female version. I didn't read that so much. But like, for whatever reason, like, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, and The Mouse and a Motorcycle. Mouse and Motorcycle was fucking, it was actually very, very good. I have fond memories of reading that book series because it was a series of books, and it was just, I don't know, it was like one of those things where you take something and you personify it in a way that it just made it fun for a young reader to read.
Yeah.
Connor Ferguson, what up?
Yeah.
You're a little late to the game.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah, we actually just stopped recording the actual audio portion.
Yeah.
This is the after party that we're about to close up.
My Side of the Mountain. Can't say I read that one.
No.
But yeah, like I'm telling you, man, if you Google Judy Bloom just on a whim and you like look through some of those titles, I guarantee you've read something that she did. Because I also read all the Hobbit stuff, C.S. Lewis.
She didn't write The Hobbit.
I know, but I'm branching out into something else that you may have read. Did you read
Tales
the Hobbit?
of the Fourth Grade Nothing. I did read that book.
There you go.
Haha.
Where's that at? Oh, you just
Under Judy fucking Bloom. 1972. Really?
Yeah, all that shit was
It
re-released.
seemed very modern when I read it.
Well,
Of course, I read it in the fucking early 80s.
early 80s,
so-
exactly.
All right.
It wasn't that far along.
Yeah.
But no, the oh fuck, what was I talking about? Oh, C.S. Lewis.
Yeah.
And all the Hobbit books, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, all that stuff. Read all those things.
Yeah.
Got really into Dune. That's when I had started getting into Dune. And it was like the 60s, 70s sci-fi stuff. It was starting to come into those plays. Yeah, Narnia. Like I refuse to watch those fucking movies.
I did read the
I had
the first 2 Narnia books.
I had the C.S. Lewis like the box set.
Yeah.
I was allowed to buy. So I had those things. I wore those things in half.
Indian in the Cupboard. I read that.
Yeah, that was a good book.
Yeah.
That was a Judy Bloom book.
Was it?
I think so.
Oh shit.
I think so.
Yeah.
Remember Shel Silverstein? He was a poet. That had to have been. You had to have seen that on the West Coast. Shel Silverstein. Anybody else out there? Where the Red Fern Grows.
Oh yeah. Fuck that book. It was boring as shit. That's the problem.
You don't remember Shel Silverstein.
Well, I remember where the red fern grows. They made
But
us
that's not a
read
Shel
that.
Silverstein thing. I just happened to bring up whatever.
For fuck's sake. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to tell me specific titles. Like when you said where the red fern grows, I remember that.
Shel Silverstein.
Because I
Around
remember
the
being
World.
bored out of my fucking mind as I'm trying to read this fucking book.
Yeah, fuck. I don't know. I can't read. I can't fucking read right now. Jesus Christ. It hurts. Anyway, people out there know where the sidewalk ends.
Isn't that a Garth Brooks song? Where the sidewalk ends and the road begins.
Never. See, that's that country music thing that I never really got into.
So yeah, I meant to chime in.
But
when
you
we
wore Wranglers and fucking
I went
cowboy
through,
boots
I-
and shit.
I went through a period of 2 years where I was in like a country phase in high school because that's what everybody was into. That's what all the hot fucking girls were into. They were all into doing line dancing and shit. They like guys who
They
wore
were doing
fucking
lines.
Wranglers.
They weren't doing line dancing.
Either way, as a young, growing boy who was trying to get in there, I did what I had to do. So,
Oh my god, I want you to put a cowboy hat on so bad.
though that was where I drew the line. Never wore a hat. I wore the boots. I wore the Wranglers. I wore the fucking the Brooks and Dunn shirts.
Oh my
Never
god.
wore a hat.
Did you have a leather vest?
No.
No leather vest.
I had a leather jacket, but
Oh my god. I'm trying to picture you in full up fucking
I've probably got pictures of me
Oh my god.
from that time. Oh, it was George Strait. Sorry.
Damn.
I was close.
Oh my god. What did you say? Oh, you said it was fucking Garth
Brooks.
Brooks.
Yeah.
All this country music sounds alike.
Yeah.
Closest thing I listen to country music is Jimmy Buffett. That's as close as I get.
And that's not very close at all.
Yeah. Well, he has some fucking steel guitar in some of his music.
Yeah. But
Yeah, some steel guitar shit though just makes me bleh, bleh, bleh. Anyway, you in a fucking cowboy hat. Why draw the line on a cowboy hat? Is it because
I
you
don't
couldn't
know.
fill a 10-gallon hat? You'd have had to have like a 5.5 gallon.
I don't know. I had this thing where it's I couldn't go full retard, right? I had to draw the line somewhere. I couldn't. Trust me, this was a guy who in 91 and 92, it was all about the death metal that you were talking about, right?
Yep.
Metallica, fucking Pantera, fucking Megadeth,
Slayer.
all that shit.
Yeah.
And then 93 hits and everybody's into fucking country. And I'm like, fuck.
No, see, on the rest of the world, when people were gravitating to a country, there was an alternative movement with fucking Nirvana and Pearl Jam and
but
everything else.
Which I liked Pearl Jam. Nirvana was okay. Soundgarden was boring.
Restless.
But at the same time, again, all the fucking girls were into the country music shit. So, again, as a 16, 17-year-old boy, that's where my mind was. That's what I needed to be doing. So, I went against all of my other instincts.
Bakersfield, California.
Yeah.
Young Jason Roscom
Mm-hmm.
in his Wrangler jeans
Mhm.
and a pair of cowboy boots. Where the fuck did you get cowboy boots?
I bought them. I went to the local...
Cowboy
place.
boot fittery?
Well, no, it was a place in the Valley Plaza Mall. It was right as you went into the entrance. It was kind of off to the right, I think.
Oh my god.
It's not there anymore, but yeah, I went in. I got my boots there. Wranglers you could buy anywhere.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember where I got the shirts, but it was a weird time.
You're
I'll just
lucky.
say that.
You're lucky it didn't permanently damage your feet. I don't understand how people can wear cowboy boots and walk normal.
Yeah, you get used to it.
There's no fucking there's no
traction. First of all, there's no traction, and you do.
there's no
lose-
arch support. There's no
Yeah.
fucking
It's not like we're in our work boots where you've got some traction and you've got some you can recover from a fall or something like that. Where in cowboy
they're not
boots, you're,
they're not combat boots
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, if you get knocked off balance or something, your ass is hitting the floor.
I feel like it's a horrible way to exist. Now I get it if you're on a horse all the time and the horse is the one that's carrying all the. Why is Old Town Road in my fucking head all of a sudden?
Oh, that was a thing too. Fucking, I hated Billy Ray Cyrus back in the day. Achy Breaky Heart, I wanted to fucking kill myself whenever that song came on.
But you were a fan of country music. How can you not like that?
Well, no, I gravitated more towards the Brooks and Dunn, a little bit of Garth Brooks.
I could not if I cannot differentiate between the two things.
Out in the country, past the city limit signs, where there's a honky tonk near the county line. No, nothing.
Wow, that's some hunky tonk, all right.
The joint starts jumping every night when the sun goes down.
You are a disgrace to everything that's involving country music in Texas, and I don't want you to sing it again.
Fair enough. Anyway.
Mid 90s, and the only metal I was still listening to was Metallica. Yeah, that was back when Metallica was still really metal.
Yeah.
And
I saw Metallica in concert in like 92. It was the best experience of my fucking life. Like, they put on
I can't imagine what it would have been like in 92. I saw them with fucking Tony Brennan and Matt Perota back when they were still with fucking AFSOC back in the day. And like when I took them during that inspection, like that was the first and only time I've seen Metallica.
Oh,
it was a great show.
Oh yeah,
it was a great show, but I can't imagine in the fucking 90s with like Ride the Lightning and like all that fucking obscure shit.
It was not long after Inner Sandman came out, after the Black Album, right?
Oh, that's true. That is the 90s.
But I mean,
I'm thinking 80s.
But
Metallica.
see, that was the thing. That was my only exposure of Metallica up to that point. They're the Black Album. Then I go to this fucking concert and they're singing all their old shit, and it was fucking awesome. I went out and bought like all 4 of their fucking previous albums after that.
Yeah.
They did a like 25-minute version of Seek and Destroy.
Nice.
It was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's great running music. That was my running music when I was in high school, was Metallica.
Yeah.
Weird Al's cover of Bill right now. Fucking.
Oh yeah, that was good actually. Achy Breaky Song. Don't play that song, that achy breaky song.
Weird Al, that's a whole fucking genre in and of itself.
Oh,
like
he's fucking great.
Weird Al transcends fucking any other music genre.
Yeah, Leonard Skinner, they were a good crossover. A good crossover from like country music style into like, popular music.
Sure.
I mean, Freebird, man.
Yeah.
And Sweet Home Alabama. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, that's.
Turn it up.
I know. Unfortunately, I know all the words to those songs and can do them for karaoke.
Nice.
Upon request.
Big wheels keep on turning.
Jason's going from the Bee Gees to fucking Leonard Skinner.
And that's the thing. I love music. Like, I've always loved music. There's some music that I just don't like, but I love being exposed to new music.
Yeah.
But it's got to be real music. Like, you think about the period in the fucking late 90s, early 2000s when it was nothing but fucking teen chicks and fucking boy bands. Although I would have torn Christina Aguilera apart back in the day. But that's a whole other thing.
And Britney.
Fuck her.
You never got into Britney?
Nope.
You didn't like
Did
her little...
Nothing for me.
Really?
Absolutely nothing for me. But Christina, I would have done unforgivable things to her. I still wish. She still looks good. Like, she just posted a picture on Instagram like last week, and she looks amazing.
I think about that. What you're talking about, like the 90s, like
Britney Spears, the fucking Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. It was all about these fucking like manufactured fucking.
Never got into them, but at the
songs.
same time, I was more of an alternative listener at that point.
I'm just saying, I hated that fucking genre. Like that period of time for music. And it's still fucking bled over into today when you get your Katy Perry's.
You have the pop.
Yeah,
Katy Perry's another one that's like, I really enjoy looking at you.
Yes.
Not necessarily listening to you, except for the Kissed a Girl thing. Like, I can tolerate that. Yeah. But, yeah, she fucking... You know what's wrong with people? They like, oh wow, I'm cool and I'm popular and I gotta change my look to be new and hip, and like, no you don't.
Yeah, because
no you don't.
Like the last few years, she's looked like an angry little boy.
Yeah, exactly. A boy that's upset that they grew giant breasts. Yeah, it's just like, oh, what happened? Oh no.
Like,
you can't just enjoy them. Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets, still my favorite Metallica albums. Yeah, I mean, Master of Puppets is a fucking classic.
Yeah.
And Justice for All. Tool. Yeah, Tool's coming to PA. I know. I'm not going to be able to see them, unfortunately. That's the type of show, like, I was always into, like, when Foo Fighters were starting, like, that like, it's more of a rock band. I like the band music.
Oh yeah, me
like,
too.
I can get into some electronica, like especially for like working out and shit like that. Like I'll get into that, like boots and pants music, right? And boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants.
Yeah.
I can get into some boots and pants music, but that's the thing. I can sit there and be listening to John Williams for fucking 15 days straight, and then listen to some boots and pants music while I'm fucking driving to stay awake, and then fucking roll into some Foo Fighters, and then come back to some Gershwin, and then like that's the thing. Except for the country, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do the fucking country.
Yeah.
It's like fucking horrific.
Yeah.
Well, Lunar Girl, I expect a full report. I heard the Tool show is fantastic. I went and did a for the Shriners last year. We did a fundraiser thing, and it was Breaking Benjamin with Chevelle, and there was a couple other bands that were like, it was a great fucking show that I got to see for free.
Nice.
And because I was doing a fundraiser for the Shriners, which support your Shriners hospitals, by the way,
Yes.
because they're awesome. Anyway,
All right. We ready to close out for real this time?
probably.
We got off on a whole
Do we-
music side.
Do we have enough of a? Hey, share us, like us, subscribe, do all the things.
Which most of you already have been, but just
Yep.
do it a little more.
Yep. Hatchet. Isaac Sipe.
Yeah,
Hatchet was one of my favorites.
Like our videos, subscribe,
Hatchet?
please. Follow us on Instagram.
I don't know. Good stuff in the chat. Oh, there's the potatoes. I was wondering what was going on because my wife had said something about potatoes, and then I was like, I don't know how that came up. But anyway.
Anywho, all right. We are ending the stream now. Thanks again, everybody. We love you. You're the best.
Peace. Don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart. Just